Chapter 3182. Although he didn't hear clearly what position she held in the Snow Valley, the identity of the Great Elder's mother was enough to make Pure Cold Master worry. He was from the Everyday sect, but the Snow Valley wasn't weak either. Tang Yuqi once disrespected the Mad Dragon Patriarch of our Everyday sect. I was ordered to kill him. Even if you're from the Snow Valley, don't meddle in other people's business. This is an order issued by our Patriarch. If you insist on interfering, then you'll be fighting to the death with our Everyday sect. Pure Cold Celestial had come with a mission, so she naturally wouldn't back down easily. What? You are from the Everyday sect? Mrs. Tang furrowed her brows. She had been in the ancient world for a long time now, and naturally knew what the Everyday After Sun sect represented. Although she could do whatever she wanted in Snow Valley, she didn't have much confidence in the Everyday After Sun sect. Although the Snow Valley was powerful, it was still a far cry from the Everyday sect. So Mrs. Tang didn't know if she should interfere or not. Regardless, Tang Yuqi was Tang Juqing's nephew. How could he watch him get killed? But if she interfered, it would be equivalent to inviting a strong enemy for the Snow Valley. Mrs. Tang wasn't afraid of causing trouble for the Snow Valley, but she was afraid that this trouble would affect Tang Yun. So Mrs. Tang was in a dilemma. When Lin Yi heard that the person who came was from the Everyday sect, he hesitated slightly and got out of the car. Although it was a bit risky, Lin Yi could see Mrs. Tang's dilemma. When he was in Snowy Valley, Mrs. Tang had helped him a lot. At this time, it was time for him to repay her. Although Tang Yuqi could be said to be Lin Yi's love rival, he was still a good person. He was also Mrs. Tang's nephew. Lin Yi had to take care of him. Opening the door and getting out of the car, Lin Yi glanced at the black figure and revealed his early heaven stage strength. He said indifferently to the black figure, "Tang Yuqi was about to spa with me. You injured him. What's going on? Where did you come from?" Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate was slightly taken aback. Seeing that Lin Yi was an early heaven rank expert, he didn't take it to heart. However, Mother Tang had said that she was from the Snow Valley. In Pure Cold Celestial's opinion, an expert like Lin Yi should also be from the Snow Valley, although he felt that he could kill Lin Yi. But his purpose in descending the mountain was to kill Tang Yuqi, not to start a feud with the Snow Valley, so he did not attack Lin Yi. He only snorted coldly and said, "What, do you have a problem with that? I tell you, mind your own business. The matters of the Everyday sect are not something you can interfere with." Seeing that Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate was very arrogant, Lin Yi was immediately amused. He smiled and said, "The Everyday and Tomorrow sect, right? I really do have a problem with you guys. And it's not just 1 or 2 days. Brat, say it like that. Do you want to cause trouble?" Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate looked at Lin Yi coldly. He didn't want to cause trouble, but it didn't mean that he could tolerate it. His gaze and tone of voice towards Lin Yi were a little unfriendly. "That's right." Lin Yi nodded indifferently. "Your Everyday and Tomorrow sect is good. Previously, you sent Zhang Naipeo to go against me. I admit it. Who asked me to have a grudge with his boss, Zhong Pingliang. However, a few days ago, you sent some Pure Heavenly Venerate to find trouble with me. I killed him, and now another one? Do you want to die too? You are." Pure Cold Celestial Master broke out in a cold sweat. His clothes were all wet at this moment. His face became extremely pale and he almost fell to the ground on his buttocks. If it was any other time, if an early heaven rank expert dared to talk nonsense in front of him, he would have already taken action. Threatening him was courting death? He would most likely kill that person first. But things were different now, because Lin Yi's words had revealed his identity. He was the person that the Mad Dragon Old Master had warned them not to provoke, the person that they had to hide from, the person that had traumatized Zhang Naipeo, the person that had killed the Pure and Dongfang Yinxing in one hit. Lin Yi. What am I? Lin Yi looked at Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate with a faint smile. That. Senior Lin Yi. I was wrong. I didn't know you were here. If I had known, wouldn't I be a fool if I still came? I don't want to die. I was just joking. Yes, it was just a joke. Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate stuttered a little. I have a small Huan pill here. Give it to him. After eating it, he can return to the market. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You come and go as you please? Lin Yi asked. What's your purpose in coming down the mountain this time? I came out to be a bystander. Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate suddenly had an idea and said, There's no more bystander in the mountain gate, so I came out to be a bystander. Yes, to be a bystander. He had heard people say something about being a bystander, but he didn't know the real meaning. He thought it really meant being a bystander, so he quickly said so. After saying that, he even praised himself. I'm so smart. Who are you lying to? Lin Yi asked lightly. If you don't want to die, tell me the truth. Yes. Okay, actually, it was the Mad Dragon ancestor who asked me to kill Tang Yuqi. Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate said. Why? Lin Yi asked. He really couldn't figure out how Tang Yuqi could make a sex ancestor remember him and send someone to kill him. It said that he humiliated our ancestor. I don't know anything else. Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate naturally didn't dare to easily reveal Zhong Pingliang's identity. This was a big secret of the sect. Fortunately, Lin Yi didn't ask much because Lin Yi couldn't guess what the relationship between Mad Dragon Ancestor and Zhong Pingliang was. Alright, Scram. I'll protect Tang Yuqi. Go back and tell your ancestor that if he sends more people, I'll go to his door. Lin Yi said. I'll kill all of you even if I have to pay a price. That's right. Yes. I'll get lost now. Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate nodded quickly. He didn't even have the courage to talk to Lin Yi directly. He took out a small rejuvenation pill from his arms, put it on the ground, and then quickly disappeared on the spot. Lin Yi looked at the back of Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate and breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he had successfully deceived this person. After a while, Lin Yi no longer felt like he was being followed and monitored. It seemed that Pure Cold Heavenly Venerate had really left. Chapter 3183. He knew that the other party was an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. Tang Yuqi was heavily injured in just one exchange, even when he was on guard. If he did it again, wouldn't he be as good as dead? Therefore, Tang Yuqi really didn't dare to go out at will. He just hid in the unfinished building and waited for Pure Cold Tianzuan to leave before daring to come out. However, he was a little ashamed. Lin Yi was also an expert at the early stage of heaven rank, but he dared to stay calm in front of Pure Cold Tianzuan, an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. However, what shocked Tang Yuqi the most was that Lin Yi was not afraid of Pure Cold Tianzuan, but Pure Cold Tianzuan was actually afraid of Lin Yi. Moreover, she was so afraid that she was trembling. Listening to Lin Yi, it seemed that Lin Yi and the everyday sect had a deep hatred. Moreover, Lin Yi had killed people from their sect. Pure Cold Tianzuan, an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank, was actually afraid of being killed by Lin Yi. Wasn't Lin Yi's strength already heaven-defying? However, Lin Yi was indeed only an expert at the early stage of heaven rank, which made Tang Yuqi very puzzled. However, since he was a detective, his brain was very good, and his logical thinking was very strong. From the short conversation between Pure Cold Tianzuan and Lin Yi, he could judge that Lin Yi's strength was definitely not limited to what he saw at present. Eat this small rejuvenation pill. When you recover, we will compete again. Lin Yi pointed to the small rejuvenation pill left by Pure Cold Tianzuan on the ground and said, Thank you. Although half of Tang Yuqi's shoulder was broken, he could still walk. He endured the pain and nodded to Lin Yi, then picked up the small rejuvenation pill and swallowed it. Now, his injury was enough for the small rejuvenation pill, so there was no need for the great rejuvenation pill. Tang Yuqi did not say much and quickly refined the small rejuvenation pill. His injury was also under control, but his injury could not be healed in an instant. He also needed to rest for a while. Now, he definitely could not compete. You go back and rest first. Whenever you want to compete, just let me know. Lin Yi's impression of Tang Yuqi wasn't bad, but he couldn't give Lingshan to him just because of that. To tell the truth, Lin Yi had very special feelings for Lingshan, and the two of them had been through a lot together. Asking Lin Yi to give her away to someone else was evidently out of the question. There's no need to compete. However, Tang Yuqi said, Mr. Lin, I know that I'm lacking, but that's just what happened just now. Facing the expert from the everyday sect. I'm far from you. He's afraid of you. This proves that you have the strength to make him fear you. Otherwise, with his strength, there is no need for him to be so afraid, and there is no need for him to lower himself to you. But to me, He was an expert who could kill me with a wave of his hand. That's why I'm inferior to you. Ha ha. Lin Yi smiled. From the looks of it, Tang Yuqi wasn't a stubborn person. He was a very logical person, and after knowing the gap between them, he wouldn't continue. Lingshan, I wish you happiness. Tang Yuqi turned to Lingshan. This time, I'm convinced. Tang Yuqi, actually, you're a good person. Lingshan was a little embarrassed. All right, I've received a good person card. Tang Yuqi sighed and smiled. But, Captain Song, I still want to stay here. After all, my father is coming, and it's not very practical for me to go overseas and be a detective. You won't fire me, will you? Of course I wouldn't reject a cheap detective like you working for me. Lingshan smiled. Since Tang Yuqi said that, naturally, Lingshan couldn't just kick him out. If he wanted to stay, then so be it. She could see that Tang Yuqi was a man of his word. All right, then we'll go back first. Auntie Wang, if you're not busy, why don't you come to my villa? Lingshan knows the place. Lin Yi invited. After all, Auntie Wang had helped Lin Yi a lot back in Snowy Valley, and Lin Yi had always been very grateful to her. But now, Lin Yi knew that Auntie Wang and Tang Yuqi had just met. She'd definitely discuss things with Tang Yuqi first, and there was no way she'd leave Tang Yuqi at her house. I won't be going. I'll be going back to Snowy Valley after I'm done here. Actually, Mrs. Tang wasn't in a hurry. She just didn't want to interact with Lin Yi too much. She didn't want Lin Yi to remember things from the past. If that happened, then Tang Yun's efforts would be wasted. All right, then we'll meet again when we have the chance. Lin Yi didn't force it. He thought that Mrs. Tang was busy. Lingshan went back alone, and Mrs. Tang and Tang Juqing went with Tang Yuqi to find a place to catch up and discuss the matter of Juqing's brother coming back. Lin Yi, on the other hand, drove Su Shihan, Chang Yi, and Yushu back to the villa. Dongfang Xiaotsue was a woman who couldn't keep her mouth shut. After obtaining Lin Yi's forgiveness, the worry on her face disappeared. Not only that, she felt that she was very arrogant. There was no other reason. Lin Yi was famous in the ancient world, and no one dared to mess with him. Now that she was the mother of Lin Yi's follower, Feng Shipian, she seemed to have a relationship with Lin Yi, and so she felt that she was also a very arrogant person. Dongfang Xiaotsue's attitude made Feng Tianhu feel that something was wrong. He was worried about Lin Yi's matter, and suddenly seeing Dongfang Xiaotsue, who was on the same boat as him, so he felt that something was wrong. And so when there was no one around, Feng Tianhu blocked Dongfang Xiaotsue's way. Sister-in-law, you've been very happy these days? Ah, Tianhu, you. What are you doing? Dongfang Xiaotsue was shocked by Feng Tianhu's sudden appearance. Nothing, I'm just wondering. I heard that Lin Yi is coming to teach us a lesson. Why are you still so happy? I just wanted to remind you, and we can discuss how to deal with it? Feng Tianhu said as if he was telling the truth. You're lying. Dongfang Xiaotsue didn't have any tricks up her sleeves. After being scared by Feng Tianhu, she immediately told the truth. Shipian already called Lin Yi, and Lin Yi said that he won't vent his anger on me. Even if he wants revenge, he'll go to House Dongfang first, not me. Stop scaring people. Chapter 3184. I must have misheard. Dongfang Xiaotsue didn't know that Feng Tianhu was testing her, so she nodded with certainty. All right then, sister-in-law, you can continue with your work. Pretend I didn't say anything, Feng Tianhu said with a smile. Then I'll go first, Dongfang Xiaotsue said and turned to leave. Feng Tianhu, on the other hand, fell into deep thought again. Many people were like this. They had no memory and forgot the pain once the scar healed. Feng Tianhu's mind started to work again when he heard that there was nothing else. Of course, he didn't want to go against Lin Yi. He didn't have the guts. The person he wanted to go against was still Feng Tianlin. He wanted to take over the position of the young master of the Feng family. Feng Tianhu was very sullen now. He talked to the everyday sect, but they didn't pay attention to him. It was obvious that they didn't think he was qualified. Someone come. Feng Tianhu yelled after returning to his room. Boss! A man in black suddenly appeared in Feng Tianhu's room. These years, Feng Tianhu had some people under him. These people were his secret forces. He didn't expose them and didn't dare to use them easily. Usually, these people were just gathering information for him. How's the thing I asked you to investigate? Feng Tianhu glanced at the man in black and asked, Did you find Feng Tianlin's previous woman? Boss, I have some clues, but I'm not sure where exactly. The man in black said, According to the investigation, the last place that woman appeared should be Songshan City, and then she disappeared, but we can't rule out the possibility that she left secretly. However, our people have been secretly investigating the woman who suddenly appeared in Songshan City in the past few years. Songshan? Feng Tianhu frowned slightly. To be honest, the two cities he was most wary of were Donghai and Songshan, since they were Lin Yi's base. If there wasn't a need to, he didn't want his people to step into these two cities and interact with Lin Yi again. But now it seemed that he had to go to these two cities again to investigate, so he said, You've done a good job, but you have to be careful. When investigating, you must avoid a person named Lin Yi. Don't get into conflict with this person. I understand, boss. The man in black nodded. The news of the ancient level has already spread. That Lin Yi can instantly kill two peak late-stage heaven-rank powerhouses. We naturally won't clash with such an expert. I trust you guys. Go. Let me know as soon as you have any news, Feng Tianhu said. Yes. The black-robed man clasped his fist. Feng Tianhu, on the other hand, was deep in thought. He was waiting for a chance to bring down Feng Tianlin and Feng Nitian, but it was obvious that these two would be happy because of Lin Yi. So Feng Tianlin chose to endure it for now. Little Peach's impression of Kong Xiaobo wasn't bad. Maybe it was because of Tian Chan's reminder, but Little Peach paid special attention to Kong Xiaobo. Once a woman paid special attention to a man, and the man was very outstanding, the chances of this woman falling in love with this man were very high. There was a very high chance that this woman would fall in love with this man. This was especially true for a woman like Little Peach, who had just been emotionally hurt and wanted to walk out of the shadows. Of course, Little Peach's business ability was also very strong. Kong Xiaobo also relied on her a lot. Some of the core businesses in the company were also involved. This way, Little Peach really found out that Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company had nothing to do with the cauldron manufacturing. There was no information about the cauldrons here, and there were no production records either. What was certain was that the cauldrons weren't made here. This made Little Peach sigh in relief. After all, she didn't want to lie to Kong Xiaobo. This way, she didn't have to sell anything. Although Tian Chan would help her take some pressure, if Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company really made the cauldrons, Kong Mingming would definitely force her to steal the information. Kong bro. Little Peach's phone rang. It was Kong Mingming. She quickly adjusted her emotions and picked up the phone. Little Peach sis, how is it? Do you have any clues? Kong Mingming asked passionately. Kong bro, I'm starting to take charge of the core business of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. But I didn't find any information about the cauldron's production. I didn't see any production records either, Little Peach said. So I'm sure that this place hasn't produced any cauldrons. Kong bro, you should give up on this place. Oh? No. Kong Mingming was a little disappointed. In fact, he could more or less guess this result. After all, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was a production line. He was sure that this cauldron was produced by House Lu's electronics factory. It was reasonable that there wasn't any information here. However, Kong Mingming naturally wouldn't let Little Peach give up. He didn't want her to return to the Heavenly Elixir sect. It wasn't easy to kill this person. She was an eyesore in front of him. If it affected his relationship with Little 11 and caused Elder Xianxia to be wary, then it wouldn't be worth it. So, Kong Mingming said directly, Little Peach, don't give up. You should continue to stay there. This cauldron might be a core secret. It can't be displayed in front of normal employees. How about this? You should continue to stay there. I think that you might need 3 to 5 years to get to know these secrets. Little Peach, if you want to be with me, you have to be prepared to be a spy for a long time. Do you understand? Okay, Kong bro. Little Peach will continue to stay here and find out more about this cauldron. Little Peach quickly nodded. However, she was very disdainful in her heart. Ever since she knew about Kong Mingming's ugly face, she knew that Kong Ming was just playing with her. Be with her? He just wanted her to stay away from him, so that she wouldn't interfere with Kong Mingming's good things. However, staying here was also Little Peach's intention. During this period of time, she had a very good impression of Kong Xiaobo. Although she knew that Kong Xiaobo had a girlfriend, Little Peach was a person from the ancient era. She didn't have the concept of monogamy. So, this didn't affect her liking for Kong Xiaobo. Chapter 3185. I know. Peach Blossom pretended to be very serious and replied. Kong Ming Ming hung up the phone with satisfaction. On Little Peach's side, she was also relieved. She put away her phone and was about to turn around and leave the secretary's office. When she turned around, she saw Kong Xiaobo standing at the door of the secretary's office with a gloomy face. Kong. President Kong. Little Peach was shocked. She stood on the spot, dumbfounded. She didn't expect that her phone call would be discovered by Kong Xiaobo. Tao Xiaohong, don't you want to explain this matter to me? Kong Xiaobo's face was very ugly. He didn't expect that his secretary was actually a spy. Who is the brother Kong on the other side of the phone? President Kong. I was wrong. I shouldn't have hidden it from you. But, I really have no malicious intent towards you and the company. Not even a little bit. Little Peach cried and was at a loss. Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but frown. He didn't expect Little Peach to cry first. Kong Xiaobo was also a soft-hearted person. Like boss, like little brother. He also couldn't bear to see a woman cry. Although he was annoyed, he still comforted. Little Peach, don't cry. If you have something to say, just say it. You can't solve the problem even if you cry. President Kong. Then, do you believe me? Little Peach wiped her tears and asked weakly. Xiaobo didn't know how to respond to Peach's question at all. He hadn't even said anything yet, and she was asking if he believed her or not. Red, tell me the whole story, and if you're not wrong, then I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you. If you are really not wrong, I naturally won't blame you, but if you really betray the company's interests, even if I rely on you, I can't let you live. President Kong, I will tell you now. Little Peach didn't hide anything. She directly told him her identity and her previous relationship with Kong Ming Ming. Also, she told Kong Xiaobo that Kong Ming Ming sent her to spy on the secret and played with her. When Kong Xiaobo heard the name of his cousin, Kong Ming Ming, he was a little surprised, but he was more angry. This cousin of his was actually going against him and his boss. This person was really hopeless. The person Xiaobo hated the most in his life was Kong Xiaoming. Not only did he hurt Fan, but Kong Xiaoming as well. He even sent people to oppose him and Lin Yi. Kong Xiaobo was no longer the hot-blooded young man who impulsively wanted to go up to the rooftop with Lin Yi. He had been in the business world for so long. Naturally, Kong Xiaobo had the ability to read people. Whether Little Peach was lying or telling the truth, Kong Xiaobo could tell at a glance. Based on Little Peach's words and tone, Kong Xiaobo could basically tell that Little Peach wasn't lying. Moreover, the Kong Ming Ming that Little Peach mentioned was very similar to his character. Blinded by greed, he was a person who put benefits above everything else. At the same time, Kong Ming Ming also sympathized with Little Peach. This person was completely a sacrifice that Kong Ming Ming used to climb up. It could be said that Kong Ming Ming didn't have any feelings for her. He was just using her. After using her, he would kick her away. How can I believe you? Although Kong Xiaobo had already made a judgment in his heart, he wasn't an irrational person. He needed evidence for everything. He looked at Little Peach and asked. I have a recording of my conversation with Kong Ming Ming. Because these are for young sect master to listen to, I recorded it. Director Kong, I can play it for you. After you listen to it, you will know Kong Ming Ming's thoughts. My task here can be said to be completed. I should go back, but he asked me to stay here for 3 to 5 years. Is this what someone who likes me would say? 3 to 5 years. How long is that? Will he let me stay here alone? Little Peach shook her head with a bitter smile and said, Director Kong, I won't lie to you. I came here to avoid Kong Ming Ming and start a new life. Our young sect master is a good person. He gave me this opportunity and told me that I just need to pretend to be courteous to Kong Ming Ming. Okay, let me listen. Kong Ming Ming nodded and signaled Little Peach to play the recording. Little Peach didn't say anything more. Instead, she played the recording of the conversation between her and Kong Ming Ming to Kong Xiaobo. After listening to the recording, Kong Xiaobo basically believed Little Peach's words. He couldn't help but sigh slightly. He felt that Little Peach was very pitiful. At this time, he was very sympathetic to Little Peach. Perhaps it was because they were in the same boat as Lan Fun. Both of them were pitiful people abandoned by Kong Xiaoming. Little Peach, I believe you. So, your name isn't Tao Xiaohong, but Little Peach? Kong Xiaobo asked. Thank you for your trust, Director Kong. Little Peach was surprised and happy. Yes, my name is Little Peach. Tao Xiaohong is the name that the young sect master gave me. I've been a maid since I was young. I don't have any name. Your Heavenly Elixir Sect's young sect master is an upright person. In fact, Kong Xiaobo also trusted the Heavenly Silkworm transformation. Back then, Kong Xiaobo also heard that the Heavenly Silkworm transformation had helped Lin Yi, so his impression of the Heavenly Silkworm transformation was still very good. If you can ask him to call me and explain this matter, then this matter will be over. You are still my secretary, and I will not pursue this matter anymore. I'll try. Little Peach didn't dare guarantee that the Heavenly Silkworm transformation could communicate with Kong Xiaobo for her. After saying so, Little Peach dialed Tian Chan's number. Little Peach, what's the matter? Tian Chan still had a lot of feelings for Little Peach. After all, she had followed her for so long. Now that she had left her side, Tian Chan would often think of her. Young sect master, it's like this. When I was on the phone with Kong Ming Ming, I was discovered by Director Kong. Little Peach said weakly. Little Peach, why are you so careless? What did Kong Xiaobo say now? Tian Chan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't expect Little Peach to not be vigilant at all. Didn't she know how to avoid making a phone call? He said that he wants you to explain to him. Little Peach said as she told Tian Chan what she had already confessed. Okay, I'll talk to him. Tian Chan agreed readily. This surprised and delighted Little Peach. She quickly gave the phone to Kong Ming Ming and said, Director Kong, the young sect master wants to talk to you. Hello, young sect master Tian. Kong Xiaobo picked up the phone nervously. After all, the other party was the young sect master of a super ancient sect. When had Kong Xiaobo spoken to such a person? Chapter 3186. In that case, she subconsciously wanted to leave a good impression in front of him. What Little Peach said is all true. I can guarantee it with my identity and status. Besides, I'm the young master of the Heavenly Elixir sect. I don't think I need to lie to you. That's true. Kong Xiaobo couldn't think of any reason for the young master of the Heavenly Elixir sect to lie to him. Although he couldn't rule out the possibility that the Silkworm Change and Little Peach were in cahoots, Kong Xiaobo knew that the Silkworm Change was the Silkworm Change, and Kong Ming Ming was Kong Ming. Kong Ming Ming wanted to deal with Lin Yi and him, but the Silkworm Change had helped Lin Yi a lot. Not only did it look for Lin Yi in the trial, but it also helped when the Dark Knight Palace was attacked. This showed the attitude of the Silkworm Change. If the Silkworm Change threatened Lin Yi and asked Lin Yi to hand over the materials of the first-grade automatic medicine cauldron, he believed that Lin Yi would definitely hand it over. Lin Yi was a person who valued kindness. If the Silkworm Change wanted the materials, it didn't need to put in so much effort. It could be done with a phone call. Why would it need to pretend with Little Peach? As for Kong Ming Ming, Kong Xiaobo also knew that he had always wanted to deal with Lin Yi and himself, so what Little Peach said was very reasonable. As for why Kong Ming Ming, as an elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, didn't listen to the Silkworm Change, the reason was very simple. A big sect couldn't only have one force. Little Peach had also said that the person who supported Kong Ming Ming was the Silkworm Change's martial uncle, who was also a strong person. So it was reasonable that the Silkworm Change couldn't fight with him head-on. Since young sect master Tian has said so, I will definitely believe you, no matter what. No matter what, you've helped my boss so much, so there's no need to lie to me. Kong Xiaobo said. However, young Master Tian, do you mind if I tell Boss Lin Yi about this matter? You can tell him. It's okay, Tian Chan said. All right, thanks for understanding. Xiaobo said with a sigh of relief. He couldn't hide this from Lin Yi even if he wanted to. If he had to keep the Heavenly Silkworm transformation a secret, he would have been in a difficult position. But now, there was no problem. After hanging up the phone, Kong Xiaobo only felt sympathy for Little Peach. He didn't expect Little Peach to be so pitiful, so he sighed and said, Little Peach, you're also a pitiful person, and so is my girlfriend. I'll introduce you two when the time comes. I'm sure you'll have a lot of common topics to talk about. In fact, Little Peach and Lan Fan belonged to the same company. They had known each other for a long time, but they didn't have a deep relationship. After all, Little Peach was only Kong Xiaobo's secretary. She had gone to make friends with Kong Xiaobo's girlfriend. It was a little strange. But it was different when Kong Xiaobo brought it up. In fact, Little Peach also wanted to talk to Lan Fan. She had read Kong Xiaobo's information and knew Lan Fan's background. This girl's background was even more miserable than hers. Compared to her, she was nothing. Little Peach was just cheated by Kong Ming, but Lan Fan was not only cheated, but also set up a car accident by Kong Ming. In the end, she was even forced to jump off a building. Not only did she have mental problems, but her legs were also broken. Fortunately, she met Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo. Otherwise, Lan Fan's life would have been ruined. The two of them were in the same boat, and Little Peach also had a good impression of Kong Xiaobo. Naturally, she had to pay a visit to Lan Fan. Thank you, Mr. Kong. Actually, I've already read the information and know that Miss Lan was also hurt by Kong Xiaoming. If you can introduce us to each other, I'll be able to vent my frustrations. It'll be a lot easier. Little Peach didn't hide her knowledge of Lan Fan. Oh! Kong Xiaobo was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that Little Peach had already known about Lan Fan. But thinking about it, since she was sent by Kong Ming and alarmed Silkworm Transformation must have investigated his information in advance. In this way, Kong Ming was relieved. He nodded and said, "Then I will call Xiaofan." As Kong Xiaobo said, he picked up the phone on the desk and dialed Xiaofan's internal line. "It's me, Xiaofan," Kong Xiaobo said directly. "Xiaobo? Why are you calling me?" Xiaofan was a little surprised. Usually at work, Kong Xiaobo would do his business and wouldn't call her directly. Even if there was business, he would let his assistant contact her. Generally, he wouldn't call her personally. "Do you have anything on your hands now?" Kong Xiaobo asked. "Not for the time being." "Why? What's the matter?" Xiaofan asked curiously. "It's like this. You know my secretary, Tao Xiaohong. Before she came to the company, there was a story. I hope you can enlighten her." Kong Xiaobo said. "Me? Enlighten her?" Xiaofan was slightly stunned. She didn't understand what Kong Xiaobo meant. How can I enlighten her? Before, she was just abandoned by Kong Ming, that bastard. Kong Xiaobo said with a bitter smile. "What?" Xiaofan was stunned after hearing it. She didn't expect Kong Xiaobo to say this. This Tao Xiaohong actually has a relationship with Kong Ming? Isn't this too much of a coincidence? Actually, it's like this. Kong Xiaobo briefly told Xiaofan about the matter between Little Peach and Kong Ming. Then he said, "Now that the young sect master of Heavenly Elixir sect has guaranteed in front of me, there's no problem with Little Peach." "I understand. Ask her to come over," Xiaofan sighed. Xiaofan sighed. Looking at Little Peach's current state, she thought of herself in the past. However, her injuries were deeper than Little Peach's. Little Peach had only just fallen. "Okay, I'll ask her to look for you now." Kong Xiaobo nodded. Kong Xiaobo asked Little Peach to look for Xiaofan while he called Lin Yi, "Boss." "Xiaobo, what's the matter?" Lin Yi quickly picked up the phone. "Boss, it's like this." Kong Xiaobo told Lin Yi about Little Peach and his conversation with Heavenly Silkworm Transformation. Lin Yi was shocked after hearing Kong Xiaobo's words. He didn't expect Kong Ming to reach out to him again. He didn't expect Heavenly Silkworm Transformation to be on his side. Actually, Lin Yi had always been doubtful about Heavenly Silkworm Transformation's attitude towards him. In the Heavenly Elixir Sex trial, when Heavenly Silkworm Transformation was making things difficult for Lin Yi, it helped Lin Yi out. These all showed that Heavenly Silkworm Transformation shouldn't be his enemy. Chapter 3187. Although it was Kong Ming's loss, the pills didn't belong to him. It should belong to Sky Elixir Sect. Did the young master of Sky Elixir Sect not hold a grudge against him? Or was it just as Kong Xiaobo said? There were several factions in Sky Elixir Sect, and Kong Ming's faction and Silkworm Change's faction were enemies? So the loss was probably the profits of that faction, and it had nothing to do with Silkworm Change? Lin Yi couldn't figure it out, but there were some things that Lin Yi couldn't ask Silkworm Change directly. He could only take it one step at a time. Since Silkworm Change is acting as Little Peach's guarantor, You don't have to worry about anything. Let her continue working in your company. We still have to give Silkworm change face. Lin Yi was a grateful person, and Silkworm change had done him a favor. No matter what, he had to trust Silkworm change this once. Kong Xiaobo's company didn't have any core secrets. Those medicine formulas were treasures to House Kong, but they were useless to Sky Elixir sect now. If they wanted them, they could make them themselves. They didn't need to steal from Lin Yi. So from Lin Yi's point of view, Silkworm change wouldn't be able to do anything bad to him. I understand. Kong Xiaobo nodded. After hanging up, Lin Yi called Lu Jinghan. Jinghan, I have something to tell you. Lin Yi said, then told her about Kong Mingming's plans on the first-grade automatic cauldrons. You need to be on guard here. If Kong Mingming can't find a breakthrough from Fatty Lai's side, he'll go to your side. Lin Yi bro, I know. Kong Mingming has already made his move. He's bribed a foreman of our House Lu's electronics factory, and he's stealing the factory's information. It seems like he's working on two fronts, not just Boss Lai, Lu Jinghan said. Oh, he's already made his move? You know? How did you deal with it? Lin Yi asked in surprise. I didn't deal with it. However, I've already sent people to keep an eye on Foreman Su. Lu Jinghan said, on my side, if I get rid of Foreman Su, Kong Mingming will definitely find other ways to steal the information. Instead of that, it's better to control the danger in our own hands. We just need to keep an eye on Kong Mingming and Foreman Su. Is there nothing on Foreman Su's side to steal? Lin Yi didn't expect Lu Jinghan to have already noticed this. He was relieved. Yes, that side is filled with production materials. In fact, the core technology of the first-grade automatic medical cauldron is the source code in the single-chip microcomputer. The manufacturing process and plans can actually be imitated by most high-end electronics companies through our products. It's not a problem at all. Kong Mingming can steal these things if he wants to. It doesn't matter, Lu Jinghan said. If that's the case, where did you save the source code? Lin Yi nodded and asked. The source code is in the head office. It's in the computer in the secret room of my office. No one in this secretary company knows that when the source code is written, I personally operate it. I let the company's workers place the chips on the programmer in batches and give it to me. I operate the computer in the secret room to write the program. Lu Jinghan said, although it's a bit troublesome, fortunately, the production and sales of our medical cauldrons aren't high. There are only a few a day. I can operate it myself. Each time it takes about half an hour. I can write 50 single-chip microcomputer chips in batches at the same time. That's good. Lin Yi was relieved after listening. But you have to be careful. If Kong Mingming can't get what he wants from Foreman Su, he will definitely think of other ways. Don't worry. I'll be careful, Lu Jinghan replied. On Kong Mingming's side, he spent 600,000 yuan to get the information from Foreman Su. Although 600,000 yuan wasn't a lot, Kong Mingming was quite depressed. After all, it wasted a lot of his time. All the information he got was the manufacturing process. This manufacturing process could be easily replicated by any electronics company. The circuit board inside was also very simple. There wasn't any technical difficulty in producing it. With these things, it could only be said that it was easier for Kong Mingming to copy it. It could save some time to design the mold, but it didn't help the material. That's all? Kong Mingming looked at Foreman Su with some disappointment. Boss Kong, this is all the information I can get. You see. Foreman Su looked at Kong Mingming's face and knew that he wasn't satisfied with the information he brought. However, there was no other way. Foreman Su had tried his best. Why isn't there any information about this single-chip microcomputer and the source code? Kong Mingming frowned and asked. I heard that this single-chip microcomputer isn't produced in China. The program is written by the head office. Our electronics factory isn't responsible for these. Foreman Su said with some difficulty. It's written by someone from the head office? Do you know who's responsible? Kong Mingming's eyes lit up. As long as the program was written here, it was fine. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if it had to go overseas. I'm not very sure about this. You know that I'm just a small leader in the factory. Foreman Su said, I can't find out about the head office's matters. All right. You can go back. Don't tell anyone that I'm looking for you. Do you understand? Kong Ming said sternly. Otherwise, even if I'm exposed, you won't be able to get away with selling trade secrets. I understand. Fu Manchu said quickly. It's good that you understand. Kong Ming nodded, stood up, and left. He had to find a way to find out about the Lu family's headquarters. It seemed that the source code of the single-chip microcomputer was in the hands of a few people. It was impossible for ordinary employees to know about it. However, Kong Ming was lucky. He waited near the factory for a few days and saw the person who sent the single-chip microcomputer to the factory. This person was the one who sent the programmed microcontroller to the factory. Kong Xiaoming was able to find the person now. When this person sent the single-chip microcomputer, got in the car, and was about to leave, Kong Ming opened the door of the front passenger seat and sat down. Bro, let's talk. Kong Ming said with a smile. Who are you? What do you want? Let me tell you, I don't have money. I'm just delivering the goods to the company. This car is the company's bus, not mine. The person saw Kong Ming get in the car and was shocked. He thought that Kong Ming wanted to rob him. Chapter 3188. Hee. Let me introduce myself. My surname is Kong, and I'm here to discuss a business deal with you. Kong Ming introduced himself. What business do you want to discuss with me? I'm just a delivery man. If you have a business deal, go talk to our company's leader. That's the job of the department manager. I'm just an employee. What's there to discuss? The delivery man was confused. Don't rush, I just want to ask you something. If you answer me, I'll give you 20,000 kuai. How's that? Kong Xiaoming said as he took out 2 stacks of cash and placed them in front of the delivery man. You. What do you mean? I'm telling you, I don't do anything illegal. I'm just a delivery man. I don't know anything. You want me to kill people and burn things down? I won't do that. The delivery man looked at the cash in front of him and was shocked. Don't worry. I'm not asking you to kill people or burn things down. I just want to ask you a question. Where did you get all these microcontrollers? Kong Ming asked. That's the question? The company asked me to deliver them. You want me to answer this question and you'll give me money? The delivery man opened his eyes wide and looked at Kong Ming in disbelief. Of course, that's the question. But you have to tell me, who gave you these microcontrollers? Kong Ming said, which means, who wrote the program? This microcontroller was given to me by Vice CEO Lu's assistant. As for who wrote the program, I don't know. The delivery man shook his head. Vice CEO Lu? Who? Kong Ming asked. It's Lu Jinghan, Vice CEO Lu. She's the leader of our Lu's group. The delivery man explained. The leader of your group? How can she be the Vice CEO? Who's your CEO? Kong Ming asked curiously. Lu Jinghan was the CEO. It's like this. The CEO of our group is actually Mr. Lu Tianli. But Mr. Lu Tianli entered rehab because of drug abuse. After he came out of rehab, he's been living in a sanatorium. Vice CEO Lu is actually the same as the CEO. It's just that she hasn't officially taken up the position yet. That's to say, Lu Jinghan wrote the program in this single-chip computer? Kong Ming asked. More or less, I'm not sure either. The delivery man said. Okay, the money is yours. After Kong Ming got the information he wanted, he got out of the car. Now things had reached a dead end. If this program was really written by Lu Jinghan, then it would be useless for Kong Ming to look for anyone but Lu Jinghan. But how could Lu Jinghan give the program to Kong Ming? Kong Ming pondered. He could only start with Lu Jing'an's secretary. Of course. Kong Ming didn't look for Lu Jing'an's assistant directly. Usually, the assistant was Lu Jing'an's confidant. He only looked for Lu Jing'an's personal secretary. This secretary was only responsible for cleaning the office and serving tea. She did not participate in the business. So this kind of person was not Lu Jing'an's confidant, and she wouldn't earn much money. It was easier to attack. As expected, Kong Xiaoming managed to get some important information from his personal secretary. As expected, Lu Jinghan was responsible for writing the SCM. However, there was no programming device in Lu Jing'an's office. According to the long-term work observation of this personal secretary, There was a secret room in Lu Jing'an's office. This secret room could only be entered through fingerprint verification. Then this secret room, you guys have never entered it before? Kong Mingming asked. No, including Vice CEO Lu's assistant and business secretary. That's the forbidden area of the CEO's office. Only the former CEO Lu and the current Vice CEO Lu can enter. There's a verification, the personal secretary said. Oh, does that mean Lu Tianli can enter as well? Kong Mingming suddenly thought of something and his eyes lit up. Yes, this was the former CEO Lu's office. The personal secretary said. Okay, I understand. Kong Xiaoming left after paying the fee. He didn't stay around the company anymore. Instead, he went to carry out another plan. In fact, Lu Jinghan had been monitoring Kong Mingming's contact with these people. Although she didn't know what Kong Mingming had said to these people, she didn't care. These people couldn't touch the company's core secrets. Even if Kong Mingming went to them, he wouldn't be able to get the source code. It would be useless. So Lu Jinghan let him do whatever he wanted. As for the employees in the company, Lu Jinghan decided to deal with them later. After Kong Mingming left, he went to Lu Tianli's sanatorium. This wasn't a secret. With Kong Mingming's connections, finding out where Lu Tianli was an easy task. In the middle of the night, Kong Mingming went around the people house Lu sent to watch over Lu Tianli and went straight into Lu Tianli's room. Kong Mingming was now a sky-class master. Although he didn't have much fighting ability, it was still a piece of cake for him to go around the guards outside the door. These days, to Lu Tianli, every day was painful. After leaving the drugs, Lu Tianli became extremely haggard. Although he wanted to continue taking drugs, he didn't have the money or the means to buy them. Although he came out of the sanatorium and stayed in the sanatorium, there were still guards sent by Lu Jinghan outside the sanatorium villa. They said it was to protect his safety, but in reality, they were watching him and not letting him leave. He wouldn't have the chance to touch drugs again. During the day, Lu Tianli could go play cards and drink with his friends in the sanatorium. He could get through it, but at night, it was hard to get through. Every time the drugs acted up in the middle of the night, Lu Tianli would be in so much pain that he had the urge to die. At this moment, Tianli's addiction was acting up, and he was panting heavily on the bed when Kong Xiaoming appeared in front of Tianli's bed without a sound. Want one? Kong Mingming passed a cigarette to Lu Tianli. Of course, this cigarette had been specially processed, and there were drugs in it. Kong Mingming had prepared it before coming. Tianli saw the cigarette and grabbed it without thinking, putting it in his mouth. Kong Xiaoming lit it up for him at the same time. Lu Tianli didn't even have cigarettes, let alone drugs. So he didn't care who Kong Mingming was or how he got in here. Naturally, he wouldn't let go of a cigarette to satisfy his craving. Chapter 3189. This wasn't a normal cigarette. It smelled exactly the same as the ones he used to smoke. This was a cigarette with drugs in it. Although he knew subconsciously that taking drugs wasn't right, he couldn't control himself. Besides, he didn't have anything now. Living in the sanatorium every day was boring, so he might as well just throw it away and enjoy himself for as long as he could. Good, this is satisfying. Tianli praised. He was as happy as a god after finishing the cigarette. Mr. Lu, do you want another? Kong Mingming smiled and placed a pack of cigarettes in front of Tianli. You? Who are you? How did you get in here? Why do you have drugs? Tianli looked at the pack of cigarettes in Kong Mingming's hand, his eyes filled with greed. But he wasn't stupid. He knew that Kong Mingming wouldn't be here just to give him cigarettes for no reason. There had to be some other reason. Haha, who I am isn't important. What's important is that I can provide you with a lot of these cigarettes. Kong Mingming said with a smile. Why? What do you want? Tianli needed cigarettes, but he knew that there was no free lunch in this world. Mr. Lu is a smart man. You should be able to enter the secret room in the CEO's office, right? Kong Mingming asked. The secret room in the CEO's office? You mean the Lu's group? Tianli asked, but his eyes were on the cigarettes that Kong Mingming had placed on his bedside table. Have another one if you want. Kong Mingming said as he handed the cigarette over again. After Tianli took another puff he said, That's right, the secret room in the CEO's office. You can go in, why do you ask? Tianli was confused why Kong Mingming was asking about the secret room. There was nothing in there. just a computer and a bed. This was where Tianli used to rest when he was frustrated. Otherwise, who would leave something valuable in the company? It wasn't like the Lu family didn't have secret rooms to store things in. Bring me in later. As a reward, I will give you 10 cartons of cigarettes. They are all like this. Kong Ming pointed at the cigarettes on the table and said, 10. Tianli paused. He knew that Kong Ming going to the company's secret room wouldn't be a good thing, but his desire won out over his rationality. He needed drugs. 10 cigarettes was enough for him to have fun for a while, and the pleasure he got from smoking just now made him extremely happy. But Tianli was a successful businessman after all, and he knew how to bargain. 30. He raised the price directly. If Kong Xiaoming wanted to go to the secret room, then he must have a plan. Although Tianli Lu didn't think that there was anything important in the secret room, he still tried to test the waters by stating his conditions. Sure. Kong Xiaoming didn't even think about it. The drugs were rare, but it wasn't expensive for Kong Xiaoming. It was just 50 cigarettes. It was a drop in the ocean compared to the reward. Tianli saw that Kong Ming agreed so quickly, and he knew that his condition wasn't enough. You have to give me some up front, otherwise how can I trust you? Now. Kong Xiaoming paused for a moment. Sure, they're all in my car. Actually, I prepared 40 of them. If things go smoothly, I can give them all to you. I don't have them anyway. I don't take drugs. All right. Tianli was happy again. You want to go to the secret room? Let's go now. But there are guards at the door. Can you hide? Sure. Kong Xiaoming nodded and replied casually. With that, he grabbed Tianli and jumped out of the window, disappearing into the night. Tianli was surprised and happy as he watched his body fly up into the air, landing a few hundred meters away from the villa. You're a practitioner? Yes, I'm a sky-class master. Kong Ming said. So you should know that I have no reason to lie to you. If I wasn't afraid of being discovered, I would have just destroyed the secret room's mechanism by force. It wasn't that Kong Ming hadn't thought of doing that, but he was afraid that he'd be discovered when he was destroying the mechanism. If that happened, he'd have to run first, and there wouldn't be a second chance. That was why he brought Tianli here. Hearing that Kong Ming was a sky-class master, Tianli was shocked. He nodded. All right, if that's the case, let's go. The two came to a car, and Kong Ming opened the trunk, showing the cigarettes inside to Tianli. Tianli got in the car, satisfied, and followed Kong Ming to the Lu group. The Lu group security was good, but these people were all masters of the common world. It was impossible for them to guard against a sky-class master like Kong Ming. Kong Ming brought Tianli and flew into the washroom with the window open, going upstairs to the CEO's office. Lu Jinghan didn't change the lock, so Tianli easily opened the CEO's office door with his key. Jinghan didn't expect Tianli to come to this place again. After all, Tianli was still the old CEO in name, but he'd already retired to the sanatorium. Why would he come back? After entering the office, Tianli flipped open one of the murals in the office with familiarity. Behind the murals was a fingerprint recognition device. Tianli keyed in the password and verified the fingerprint, and the door to the secret room opened slowly. Because Tianli entered the office and opened the door to the secret room through the proper way, the security measures weren't activated at all. It was like Jinghan coming here alone at night. As long as Jinghan didn't purposely look at the security cameras, she wouldn't notice anything. All right, the door is open. Do what you want to do as soon as possible. If someone finds out, neither of us will have a good ending. Tianli reminded. Kong Ming nodded. I know that even if you don't remind me, I'll do it as soon as possible. Chapter 3190. However, Kong Ming wasn't interested in this programmer at all. Even if he took it away, it wouldn't be of much use. He didn't have this kind of MCU, and he wouldn't be able to produce it. What he needed to do was to copy the source files from the MCU, analyze them, and write them into a MCU that he could buy. This would replace the original MCU and act as a simulation. Kong Ming quickly turned on the computer and entered the system. Because this was a secret room, Lu Jinghan didn't set a password. After all, she didn't expect anyone to be able to enter the secret room. Of course, even if she did set a password, she could still use the USB drive to bypass the original system and copy the data inside. Soon, Kong Ming found a folder called Cauldron Source Program in Lu Jinghan's D drive. Kong Ming opened it and saw the single version, 10-in-1, and 5-in-1 source files. Kong Ming quickly inserted the USB drive into the computer and copied the source files out. From the looks of it, this computer was used to write programs. Other than the programmer's driver, there was nothing else. Kong Xiaoming also copied the programmer's driver. Although he couldn't copy the MCU in the cauldron, he could use the programmer's driver to analyze the general parameters of the MCU and find a replacement MCU chip. After copying everything, Kong Ming turned off the computer and pulled out the USB drive. He said to Qianli, "Mr. Lu, let's go." "It's done?" Qianli didn't know what Kong Ming had copied, but he didn't have the time to think about it. His mind was filled with the 40 cartons of cigarettes. After locking the office door, Kong Ming brought Qianli back the way they came. Kong Ming didn't lie to Qianli. After sending him back, he gave the 40 cartons of cigarettes to Qianli and left Yanjing City quietly, returning to the Sky Elixir sect. With these programs, it wasn't easy for Benjamin too to find a replacement chip after making some modifications, but it wasn't too difficult either. After a few days of hard work, he finally found a replacement chip that could mimic the original chip's function. As for the cauldron itself, although Kong Xiaoming had gotten the production process information from Supervisor Su, the titanium alloy used in the cauldron wasn't smelted by this factory. It was imported from a place called X Island. Kong Xiaoming didn't know the process of smelting it. But this wasn't a problem for Benjamin too. He used an ordinary first-grade cauldron, combined with the assembly process provided by Su Gongming, and actually created an automatic cauldron made from an ordinary first-grade cauldron. This modified product had the same function as an automatic cauldron. Although the cost was higher because it was a real first-grade cauldron, but compared to the price of this cauldron, the cost was still very low. When the Xianxia ancestor and Kong Ming heard the good news, they were all smiles. "Father-in-law, it seems like this time, we can attack Lin Yi again. Once our cauldron goes on the market, we'll break Lin Yi's monopoly. At that time, we'll sell it at a slightly lower price. This way, people will come to buy our cauldron," Kong Ming said. "And, not only are we cheap, but the Sky Elixir sect is also a long-established alchemy sect. I believe those alchemists will know who to choose when the time comes." The Xianxia ancestor was also very confident about the product that was about to go on the market. "Okay, mass-produce the finished product as soon as possible, and we'll put it on the market," the Xianxia ancestor said decisively. "But, father-in-law, we don't have any funds now. The money is used to refine first-grade elixirs. There are still so many elixirs in the warehouse," Kong Ming said with some difficulty. "Doesn't the Cultivator Trade Association provide loans? Let's go there to borrow some. Anyway, we can earn back the money quickly," the Xianxia ancestor said after thinking about it. "Okay, I'll go now." Kong Ming was also confident about the first-grade automatic cauldron. After all, he had seen Lu Jing'an's sales. If he could get 1/3 of the market, he could make a lot of money and make up for the previous losses. On this day, a major event happened in the cultivation world. The first-grade intelligent cauldron produced by the Sky Elixir sect went on the market. The so-called first-grade intelligent cauldron was actually the same thing as the first-grade automatic cauldron. The two had different approaches but achieved the same result. The only difference was the name. Kong Ming was also very smart. He did not produce those single-edition and 5-in-1 cauldrons. Instead, he directly produced a 10-in-1 limited edition fine cauldron. He knew that if he wanted to seize the market, he could only snatch the market share from Lin Yi by producing and selling such rare products. In any case, this thing was not developed by Kong Ming. He only cared about the immediate benefits, not the long-term benefits. In his opinion, this kind of imitation business would not last long. After the sales war between the two parties started, the price of the cauldron would definitely become cheaper and cheaper. When that time came, the profits would also decrease. In this case, it was better to sell as much as possible from the beginning. This 10-in-1 cauldron was usually sold for around 1.5 billion in the Cultivator Trade Association. However, when Kong Ming's 10-in-1 cauldron went on the market, it was sold for a discounted price of 999,990,000. The aristocratic families and sects were not stupid. If there was a bargain, they would naturally choose the cheap one. Moreover, if they went to the Cultivator Trade Association to auction it, they might not be able to get it. On the other hand, the Sky Elixir sect sold it 24/7. It was obvious which one was better. Therefore, on the first day that the Sky Elixir Sec's 10-in-1 Intelligent Cauldron went on the market, 3 were sold. That was close to 3 billion. After deducting the manufacturing cost, there was a net profit of 2 billion. It was a good business with a small capital but great profits. The people from the Cultivator Trade Association were dumbfounded when the Sky Elixir Sec's medicinal cauldron went on the market. The people from the Liu family were also dumbfounded. They did not expect that the other party would also have a medicinal cauldron with the same function on the market. Although the Sky Elixir sect claimed that it was their latest and exclusive development, anyone with a discerning eye could see that it was a complete imitation of Lin Yi's first-grade automatic cauldron. Chapter 3191. Moreover, there were a few more useful first-grade pills that Lin Yi's cauldron didn't include. The Heavenly Elixir sect could add them, but they didn't. What did this mean? When Vice Chairman Ouyang told Lin Yi the news, Lin Yi was shocked and angry. This was a blatant fake. Lin Yi didn't even need to think about it. It must be Kong Mingming's doing. This guy liked to do this kind of thing the most. The Kong family was like this in the past. Chapter 3192. Alright, since you put it that way, we'll leave it at that. You and Jinghan can discuss how to upgrade the cauldron. Lin Yi didn't dwell on this matter. After all, this thing was made by Han Jingjing, and Lin Yi was reaping the fruits of her labor. Even Han Jingjing, the inventor, wasn't unhappy about it. So what was there for Lin Yi to be unhappy about? This thing belonged to Han Jingjing, and even if she gave it to Kong Mingming for free, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to say anything, let alone pleading for House Liu. So Lin Yi agreed right away. In fact, as long as Han Jingjing wasn't angry, Lin Yi wouldn't be either. Lin Yi felt that Han Jingjing's hard work was betrayed by Lu Tianli and Lu Jinghan to Kong Mingming, and it wasn't worth it for Han Jingjing, but Han Jingjing didn't feel anything wrong about it. The news of Miracle Dr. Guan's cauldrons being able to be upgraded spread across all the ancient sects and houses like a spring breeze. This made those sects and houses that were waiting to see what would happen once again run to the Cultivator Trade Association. The houses and sects that bought Miracle Dr. Guan's cauldrons were so happy they couldn't close their mouths. Although they bought the cauldrons at a high price, and people thought that they were being taken advantage of, it was great now. Those who bought the Sky Elixir sect's cauldrons were the ones that lost out. Although the Sky Elixir sect said that their cauldrons were original, these sects and houses weren't idiots. Who couldn't tell that the Sky Elixir sect was copying Miracle Dr. Guan's cauldrons? The functions were the same, and there were no changes or additions. Who would believe that it was original? Miracle Dr. Guan's quick retaliation proved this point. They were targeting the counterfeit cauldrons in the market. If the Sky Elixir sect was original, why didn't they upgrade their cauldrons as well? The medicinal cauldron sales center of the Heavenly Elixir sect suddenly became deserted from the bustling crowd that it used to be. Everyone obediently went to the Cultivator Trade Association to register for the auction. Those who bought the medicine cauldrons also went to the Lu group to upgrade their medicine cauldrons. Hence, the Heavenly Elixir sect's first-grade intelligent medicine cauldron was like a flash in the pan. The few people who bought it all regretted it. They couldn't get a refund, nor could they go to the Lu group to upgrade it, because they didn't support the upgrade of pirated chips. This Lin Yi is too cunning. I'm afraid he has already thought of a countermeasure. Once we replicate it, he will level up and cheat us. Kong Mingming said hatefully. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Right now, the initiative is in their hands. The only thing we need to do now is to keep up with Lin Yi's pace. We can't fall too far behind them. However, Patriarch Xianxia was very calm. The most important thing now is to buy a 15-in-1 medicinal cauldron. Then, we'll crack the program inside and upgrade the products we sell. As long as our after-sales service can keep up, even if we're imitations, they'll still sell well. That's true, but the key question is, how do we get the 15-in-1 medicinal cauldron back? Kong Mingming said worriedly, after using the previous method once, we definitely can't use it a second time. Even if I go to Lu Tianli again, it's useless. Let's not talk about whether he can take me there. Even if he does, I'm afraid that Lu Jinghan has already changed the password. We still can't enter the secret room. You think of a way to deal with this matter. Discuss it with Dr. Benjamin too and see if he has a way to crack the new program? Patriarch Xianxia asked. After all, he has come into contact with those source programs now. See if there are any other ways? Okay, I'll ask him. Kong Mingming nodded. After chatting here, he called Dr. Benjamin II. Dr. Benjamin II, I have such a thing to tell you. Kong Xiaoming answered the phone and said straightforwardly. I know. Is it about the 15-in-1 medicinal cauldron? Dr. Benjamin II obviously also paid attention to the medicinal cauldron on the market. He already knew about the upgrade of Lin Yi's medicinal cauldron. Yes, it's about this. If we don't improve and upgrade, then no one will buy our products. I'm not the only one involved in this. There's also your center's interest. We'll split the profits together, so if you don't think of a way, all our previous efforts will be wasted, Kong Xiaoming said. Who said I don't think of a way? I have been studying the programmer driver you copied for me these days. Dr. Benjamin II said, with the driver of the programmer, I can decipher the parameters and definitions of the special single-chip chip. With these things, I know the general principle of the single-chip chip, and I can start to crack it. Is this for real? So, you have cracked that single-chip chip? Kong Ming didn't expect that the programmer driver that he casually copied back would be so useful. Naturally, in these few days, I can successfully read the program in the single-chip chip. Dr. Benjamin II said, if I didn't have this single-chip driver, I probably wouldn't be able to crack it in my lifetime. But with this thing, everything has become a lot easier. That's great. Well, I will send you a 15-in-1 medicinal cauldron in a few days. You crack the program, and we will also provide an upgrade service for the medicinal cauldron. Kong Ming said. Okay, send me one. Dr. Benjamin II said, by the time your parcel arrives, I guess I will have almost cracked it. Okay, then I will prepare it, said Kong Ming. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that after a week, the Heavenly Elixir sect also launched an upgrade service for the medicinal cauldron, and the upgrade fee was only 100 million, which was half of the 200 million Lin Yi charged. Moreover, the Heavenly Elixir sect also announced that as long as the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Company's medicinal cauldron was upgraded, the Heavenly Elixir sect would also quickly upgrade the cauldron in less than a week. When this news came out, the users who bought the Heavenly Elixir sect's medicinal cauldron were instantly excited. Those sects and families who were preparing to buy Lin Yi's medicinal cauldron also began to hesitate. After all, the Heavenly Elixir sect's medicinal cauldron was much cheaper, and the upgrade fee was also cheaper. Although the speed of the upgrade might be slower than Lin Yi's medicinal cauldron, it wouldn't be much slower. A week or so was still acceptable. The most important thing was that the cauldron could be upgraded. Chapter 3193. Everyone knew that the Heavenly Elixir sect's cauldron was an imitation, but they were cheap and of good quality. Being able to buy a cauldron with the same function as Lin Yi's cauldron at this price was still acceptable. So after the customers who bought the cauldron successfully upgraded, the sales of the Heavenly Elixir sect's cauldron increased again. This caused Lin Yi's cauldron to suffer a critical blow, and Lin Yi's sales plummeted. Although the Cultivator Trade Association's cauldron was auctioned every week, the final price was around 100,000 yuan, which wasn't too high. Sometimes, it was even lower than the Heavenly Elixir sect's cauldron. There was no other reason than that the cost of upgrading this cauldron was higher than the Heavenly Elixir sect's cauldron. Their upgrade cost was cheaper. This sudden blow made Lin Yi very depressed and helpless. He thought that with Han Jingjing's upgrade service, the cauldron sales would recover, but now it seemed that he was too naive. Kong Ming wouldn't let this go so easily. Lin Yi could only call Lu Jinghan again because the orphanage's construction was starting again, and they needed money every day. Xiaoka's wish was to build the biggest charity orphanage, a children's charity hospital, and a charity school. All these things were completely free, and the construction cost alone was ridiculously high, not to mention the subsequent investment. But because the cauldron was really profitable, Lin Yi didn't even think about it and asked Fatty Lai to approve it when Xiaoka suggested it. Xiaoka was probably very surprised that her dream came true. She was just thinking about it casually, but it came true. But now that the cauldron sales had plummeted, it wasn't enough to support the orphanage's investment. This made Lin Yi a little anxious. Jinghan, what's going on? Why does Kong Ming have the upgrade program? This time, isn't the upgrade program in our hands? Did Kong Ming get it again? Lin Yi was a little puzzled. How did Kong Ming do this? The upgrade procedure hasn't been leaked. However, I'm afraid our MCU has been cracked by Kong Ming's people. I guess the driver in my computer was also copied by Kong Ming. This program contains the parameters of the MCU we use. According to these parameters, if the other party has a master, they can crack our MCU. In other words, they didn't get the upgrade program, but from our upgraded medicine cauldron. Lu Jinghan said. Is that so? Lin Yi frowned and asked, then can we replace the microcontroller in the next upgrade? You can replace the entire circuit board, but the MCU. Currently, this is the only one that has matured. If we want to develop a new model of MCU, not to mention our technical strength, even if we can do it, it will take a very long time. So I have to ask your friend for help. Lu Jinghan said apologetically, it's all my fault. If we don't put these things in the company, we'll be fine. Forget it. Lin Yi shook his head. It's not your fault. If you don't put them in the company, you can't put them at home, can you? You can only blame your father Lu Tianli for letting drugs get to his head. I understand. After this, I will be more careful. I removed all of my father's authority in the company. My father has nothing to do with the company now, and he's removed from his position as CEO. Lu Jinghan said. Does Jing have any countermeasures? Lin Yi thought about it. He asked. Jing said that the next version of the upgrade program she's working on is actually to allow the medicine cauldron to automatically change the temperature during pill making. The alchemist doesn't need to change the temperature according to the temperature curve. This way, as long as a beginner alchemist can condense the pill fire, they can use the first-level automatic medicine cauldron to make pills. They don't need to be familiar with controlling the fire's temperature. Lu Jinghan said, but because Kong Mingming can crack our chip, Jing can only change the upgrade method. She's preparing to make a peripheral and use it to achieve the previous function. Then this peripheral won't be cracked by Kong Mingming? Lin Yi asked. As far as I know, there should be a program in this peripheral, right? Can't the MCU with the stored program be cracked as well? It's not the same, Lu Jinghan explained. Lu Jinghan explained, this peripheral, although there is a microcontroller inside, there is no calculation program inside. It can't calculate the required alchemy fire temperature according to the current temperature of each alchemist's alchemy fire. In fact, to put it bluntly, this is a Wi-Fi module with a unique authentication ID serial number. Through this peripheral, you can access the company's server. All the calculations are done remotely on the company's server. Finally, through this module, you can receive data instructions after the calculation to change the alchemy temperature required by the medicine cauldron. This peripheral itself has no program. So, can't Kong Mingming copy this thing? Lin Yi asked after listening. The ID serial number of each peripheral is unique. It needs to be verified by the server to obtain the calculation data. The ID serial number that is not approved cannot access the server. At the same time, if a duplicate ID serial number logs in multiple times at the same time, it will be blacklisted by the server, and the ID serial number's calculation qualification will be cancelled. Lu Jinghan said, so a simple imitation is not effective. Oh, this idea is good. Who came up with it? Lin Yi was a little surprised. This kind of remote server would probably leave Kong Xiaoming at his wit's end. It's me, Lu Jinghan said with some embarrassment. She stole Han Jingjing's credit, but she didn't blush at all. It was natural. This is good. Lin Yi nodded. In the future, the subsequent upgrade of our medicine cauldron will also be done in this way. This way, although safer, is also relative. In fact, on Kong Mingming's side, as long as he collects some data after the server feedback, he can still recompile the program. It's just that the process will be a bit longer, and it won't be as easy to crack as before. Lu Jinghan said, to put it bluntly, they just collect data and integrate it together. The data covers a lot, and there is no need to calculate at all. They just need to meet the needs of the public. Chapter 3194. From the looks of it, he still had to give Little Nine a call and ask her to help him develop another single-chip microcomputer. Okay, then you can work on this peripheral. Then, I'll ask others to help me develop a new single-chip microcomputer. Okay, Lin Yi bro, I understand, Lu Jinghan said. After hanging up the phone, Lin Yi called Little Nine and told her about the new MCU. Little Nine happily agreed, but after agreeing, she asked, Brother E, you promised me and Sister Seven that you would come and see us, why haven't you come yet? Did you forget about it? Little Nine. I don't believe you don't know what I'm doing. Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. Isn't it just being a bodyguard for a superstar? Little Nine snorted, a little unhappy. Since you know, you should understand my difficulties. Now that someone is targeting her, I can't just leave her and go abroad, right? Lin Yi said helplessly. If that's the case, then leave this to me. As long as Su Shihan goes abroad, will you go with her? Little Nine asked. It should be like this, but why does she want to go abroad? Lin Yi was slightly dazed. I'll think of a way to let her hold a concert or business event in Europe, then you can come with her, Little Nine said lightly. You? Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't think that Little Nine was so capable to actually be able to hold a business event and a concert in Europe, as if she was the person in charge of some financial group. What, are you looking down on me? Let me tell you, I'm the hacker princess. My influence in the computer industry is unparalleled. As long as I let the word out, those technology-related financial groups will rush to please me, Hacker Princess said. Lin Yi suddenly remembered that the Hacker Princess was already at the pinnacle of the hacker world. If she wanted to organize Shirhan's concert or business event, it wouldn't be hard at all. That's fine, as long as there's a chance I'll go, Lin Yi said. That's what you said, I'll think of a way later, Little Nine said. After ending the call with Little Nine, Lin Yi was about to tell Su Shihan the news in advance. But what he didn't expect was that his phone immediately rang. Lin Yi looked at his phone and saw that it was Ling Shan calling him. Ling Shan, what's wrong? Lin Yi picked up the phone. Lin Yi, something happened. Auntie Wang was beaten. Ling Shan said anxiously. Tang Yuqi planned to stay in the country and bring his father, Tang Jiagong, back to the country. Under normal circumstances, he was a member of the Overseas Cultivators Association. If he wanted to stay in the country for a long time, he should have resigned from the Overseas Cultivators Association. Therefore, Tang Yuqi applied for his resignation according to the normal procedures. However, they didn't want him to leave and tried to persuade him to stay. However, Tang Yuqi had made up his mind. Therefore, the Overseas Cultivators Association sent 2 people to East Ocean City to persuade Tang Yuqi. In Tang Yuqi's hotel, Tang Yuqi received these 2 important figures of the Overseas Cultivators Association. These 2 were elders of the Overseas Cultivators Association, and both were heaven rank experts. One was a Sky-class mid-stage master, and the other was a Sky-class mid-stage peak. These were people that Tang Yuqi couldn't even see normally, but now that 2 of them came together, Tang Yuqi was flattered. Elder Wang, Elder Chen, I'm really flattered by your presence. Tang Yuqi didn't understand why these 2 elders came personally, and he was about to leave the association, but the necessary etiquette was still necessary. Brother Tang, you don't have to be so polite. You are now a heaven stage expert and also a candidate for the elders of our Overseas Cultivators Association. We are on equal footing. Elder Wang said. He was a heaven stage middle stage expert. That's right, Brother Tang, we can call each other brothers from now on, Elder Chen said. You're too kind, elders. How can I, Tang Yuqi, be on equal footing with the elders of the Overseas Cultivators Association? Moreover, I've already submitted my resignation, and I'm about to leave the association. I really can't accept being called brother. You can just call me Little Tang or Yuqi. Tang Yuqi said sincerely. However, Tang Yuqi didn't expect that his words didn't make the 2 elders happy. Instead, their faces turned gloomy. Brother Tang, your words are different. You're a Sky-class master now, and you're a top-notch existence in the association. Elder Chen said, if you're an ordinary cultivator, it's fine if you leave, but you can't leave if you're above Sky-class. This is the answer that our elders gave after consulting the association's president and vice president. If you want to leave the Cultivator Trading Association, that's impossible. Tang Yuqi was in a difficult position. I'm going to stay here, so I can't be in charge of the association anymore. Even if I don't want to leave, I have no choice. Can you make an exception here? That's not possible. Elder Wang also spoke up. Old Chen and I came here to bring you back. Don't think about it anymore. You have the strength you have today because of the elixirs given to you by the Overseas Cultivators Association. Without our cultivation resources, how could you be a Heaven Realm expert now? Don't forget your roots. Tang Yuqi hesitated. He wasn't an ungrateful person. He also knew that it wouldn't be nice to reject them at this time. However, He had already decided to stay here. There was no way he could handle the affairs of the Overseas Cultivators Association. Isn't it just using a few elixirs and resources from your Overseas Cultivators Association? I'll return them to you. Don't make things difficult for my nephew. At this time, Mrs. Tang heard the conversation in the room and pushed the door open. Mrs. Tang was a mystic class master now, and her hearing was far superior to the average person's. She could hear everything clearly from outside the door, and when she heard how unreasonable the two elders of the association were, she got a little angry and yelled at them. Chapter 3195. I am from Xianxia. I can give you all these things. Go back now. Tang Yuqi will not go back with you. Mrs. Tang said to Elder Chen and Elder Wang. Not only will I return them to you, I will also give you some more treasures. Humph, we don't need these things, we have them too. We just want Tang Yuqi to go back with us. Elder Chen said faintly. I don't care if you are from Xianxia or not, but you better not interfere with the internal affairs of the association, or I won't go easy on you. Won't go easy on me? Mrs. Tang sneered. This is the territory of the ancient sects, not the territory of the Overseas Cultivators Association. I should be the one advising you not to behave atrociously here. Otherwise, I won't hold back. Slap. Elder Chen slapped Mrs. Tang's face. He was going to bring Tang Yuqi back to work with him, so he didn't want to make their relationship too awkward. After all, if she hit Tang Yuqi, it wouldn't look good when they worked together. But Mrs. Tang was different. She was only Tang Yuqi's second aunt, and she was only a mystic class master. Her status in the Snowy Valley couldn't possibly be that high. Because of this, Elder Chen didn't take her seriously at all and gave her a slap. You hit me? Mrs. Tang held her swollen cheek, shocked and angry. You dare hit me? Are you trying to challenge Xianxia? You're just a mystic. How can you represent Xianxia? Elder Chen laughed coldly. Don't think I don't know anything. Even if you are from Xianxia, you're not someone important. That's enough. Go away. If you continue to nag at me, I'll beat you into a cripple. I am the mother of Xianxia's elder. Xianxia Inspector, Overseas Cultivators Association. I'll remember this. I'll have people kill you too. Mrs. Tang was furious. She pointed at Elder Chen. Kill us? I'll kill you right now. Elder Chen kicked Mrs. Tang's body, sending her flying into the wall with a loud bang. When Mrs. Tang landed on the ground, she was gasping for air. It was obvious that she wouldn't be able to survive if they didn't help her. You've gone too far. Tang Yuqi looked at second aunt, who was beaten up because of a disagreement. He said angrily, she is innocent. How could you do this to her? It's not like you don't know the rules of the Overseas Cultivators Association. You can't attack ordinary people. Is she an ordinary person? Elder Chen laughed mockingly. I heard that she is an ordinary person. She was from the Snow Valley. And what kind of patroller is this? How is this an ordinary person? Yes, she is a cultivator. Elder Wang nodded in agreement. He said in support. Sigh. Tang Yuqi had no choice but to take out a small reversion pill from his body. However, he hesitated for a moment and changed it to a great reversion pill. The small reversion pill probably had no effect on Mrs. Tang's injuries. Even if she took it and recovered, she would be a cripple. The great reversion pill should be able to completely heal her injuries. However, just as Tang Yuqi took out the elixir, Elder Chen snatched it away and said, Since you've already withdrawn from the Overseas Cultivators Association, return our elixir to us. Tang Yuqi was exasperated, but he couldn't say anything. Elder Chen was right. This was indeed the case. These elixirs belong to the Overseas Cultivators Association. Of course, if you agree to go back with us and become an elder of the Overseas Cultivators Association, then I can still return these pills to you. After all, you are also an elder. These pills can be used as you wish, Elder Chen said threateningly. Tang Yuqi was in a difficult position. If he accepted the pills, it meant that he had to go back with Elder Chen. Even if his father came back, he couldn't visit him often. In fact, Tang Yuqi's plan was to go to the Snow Valley every once in a while and become a guest elder of the Snow Valley. This way, he would have the right to live in the Snow Valley. However, if he went back overseas, he wouldn't even be able to become a guest elder, let alone stay there for a while. The key problem was that Tang Yuqi's father had already returned. Why would he go overseas? Wasn't it superfluous? However, Tang Yuqi also knew that if he didn't agree now, then Elder Chen would definitely not give him the pills. Then, there would be no hope for second aunt. This wasn't what Tang Yuqi wanted to see. Tang Yuqi gritted his teeth and said to Elder Chen helplessly, "All right, I'll go back with you. Return the great reversion pill to me." "That's the way." Elder Chen nodded his head in satisfaction, then said, "I can't give her the great rejuvenation pill. You should give her the small rejuvenation pill. Isn't she the mother of the Snow Valley Elder? Doesn't she have so many resources? Then she'll definitely have the great reversion pill when she goes back. Right now, we just need to keep her life. We'll even save a great reversion pill." Tang Yuqi was very angry, but he knew that he couldn't argue with Elder Chen. Time was pressing, and if he didn't give Mrs. Tang the little reversion pill, then her life would be in danger. And so Tang Yuqi had no choice but to take out the little reversion pill and give it to Mrs. Tang. After taking the little reversion pill, Mrs. Tang's breathing calmed down. Her life was saved, but her strength was definitely crippled. Of course, that was without the great reversion pill. Ling Shan had been with Mrs. Tang these past few days. Not for Tang Yuqi, but for Lin Yi. Mrs. Tang was Tang Yun's mother, after all, and Tang Yun's position by Lin Yi's side was self-evident. In order to leave a good impression on Mrs. Tang, Ling Shan had been by Mrs. Tang's side these past few days. When she heard the fighting and saw that Mrs. Tang was injured, she didn't dare stop it, but the first thing she did was call Lin Yi. "What? Auntie Wang was hit? Who hit her? She's a practitioner, who the hell would dare hit her?" Ling Shan's phone rang out, and Lin Yi felt a surge of anger rise up from the pit of his stomach. Another practitioner, from overseas. This is what happened. Ling Shan started explaining to Lin Yi, telling Lin Yi everything in detail. Chapter 3196. So, Lin Yi rushed to the hotel at lightning speed. At the door of the room, he saw Tang Yuqi giving Mrs. Tang a circulation pill. Lin Yi was furious when he saw Mrs. Tang's pitiful state. Who did it? As Lin Yi said that, he walked into the room and revealed his early heaven rank power. "Literature library. I hit her. Why? Are you going to stand up for her?" Elder Chen looked at Lin Yi and asked calmly and disdainfully. In his eyes, Lin Yi was just a small heaven rank initial phase expert. He did not need to put him in his eyes at all. Therefore, when he spoke, he also revealed his peak heaven rank middle stage strength. In reality, what he didn't know was that even if he didn't show it, Lin Yi could still clearly see his strength. "Yes." Lin Yi nodded and said, "Overseas Cultivators Association, I don't want to become enemies with you, so I'll give you a chance. Leave now, and I'll let this matter go. Otherwise, we'll be mortal enemies." "Death grudge?" Haha. Elder Wang burst into laughter. "What a joke. Death feud? Do you have the right to talk to the Overseas Cultivators Association about a feud? Do you think you're so awesome? In my eyes, a heaven rank early stage expert is still not enough. You're also from the Snow Valley?" Elder Chen asked. After all, Lin Yi was an early stage heaven class master. This was different from Mrs. Tang, who was a low-level mystic class master. Heaven class masters were highly valued in any sect. Just like how they treated Tang Yuqi, it was the same for Lin Yi. If something happened to Lin Yi, his sect would definitely not let it go. "No, my name is Lin Yi. He's a wandering cultivator." Lin Yi said faintly, "If you've heard of my name, you'd better leave now. I'll say it again, if you start a feud with me. It's a death grudge." "Rogue cultivators?" Elder Chen was slightly stunned. Then he laughed and said, "Good, very good. I would like to see that. What was a death grudge? To tell you the truth, we're leaving with Tang Yuqi." Previously, Lin Yi was afraid that Tang Yuqi would be put in a difficult position, so he didn't make a move directly. But now, he couldn't bear it anymore. He had already warned Elder Chen, and if Elder Chen didn't listen, there was nothing he could do. Raging Fire 8 trigrams palm. 9th style. Lin Yi suddenly attacked. He sent a palm strike towards the laughing Elder Chen. Lin Yi's sudden attack. This caught Elder Chen off guard. However, he wasn't too nervous. If he took a hit from Lin Yi, he would at most be injured. Then, he would have a reason to kill Lin Yi. Moreover, he also had a Dahuan pill in his hands. He wasn't afraid of getting hurt at all. Moreover, what Lin Yi used was the 9th style. Although Elder Chen hadn't heard of the Raging Fire 8 trigrams palm before, it didn't matter. He knew the power of the 9th style. It wouldn't affect him much if it hit him. However, he didn't expect that Lin Yi's Raging Fire 8 trigrams palm 9th style would have the power of the 15th style of the Heaven-class martial skill. If this move hit his body and he was caught off guard, he would die without a doubt. But by the time he realized this, it was too late. When Lin Yi's palm landed on his body, Elder Chen followed in Mrs. Tang's footsteps. His body flew out and slammed into the wall. With a loud bang, he landed beside Mrs. Tang. Blood was bubbling out of his mouth, and he was gasping for air. Obviously, he couldn't make it. However, he was in a worse state than Mrs. Tang. He only spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood before he died. Ha! Even though Mrs. Tang's meridians were all crippled, she was still able to speak. She looked at Elder Chen's corpse beside her and laughed maniacally. Old geezer, weren't you trying to act cool in front of me? Are you dumbfounded now? He's dead, right? Elder Wang, who was at the side, was shocked. Elder Chen was dead? He died just like that? He looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. After all, Lin Yi was only a Heaven-class early phase expert. How could he kill Elder Chen, who was at the peak of Heaven-class middle phase? It was completely unrealistic. This had subverted his thinking. A cultivator with such a huge gap in strength could actually kill a cultivator who was stronger than him? What kind of logic was this? He felt that his mind couldn't keep up. You killed Elder Chen? After a long while, Elder Wang said in shock. He's dead. I've said it before. If I made a move, it would be a death grudge. Isn't he dead now? Lin Yi shrugged nonchalantly. You. Elder Wang didn't know what to say. You, a lone cultivator, actually dared to kill our Elder Chen. Aren't you afraid of the Overseas Cultivators Association's revenge? Revenge? All right, it doesn't itch when there are too many of them. Before you take revenge, you can ask around how many ancient sects I have a grudge against and how many Heaven-class experts I've killed. Lin Yi said. Elder Wang was slightly taken aback, and his face was filled with uncertainty. He didn't expect Lin Yi to be so powerful, making enemies with so many ancient sections. How could he still be alive now? He didn't know if it was true or not. However, it was true that he didn't dare to act rashly. His strength wasn't as strong as Elder Chen. If he dared to act rashly now, he would definitely die. Thus, he could only say in fear, "All right, if that's the case, we'll meet again." Elder Wang didn't dare to say anything else. He was afraid that if he said too much, Lin Yi would make him stay. He carried Elder Chen's corpse and quickly jumped out of the window, disappearing from everyone's sight. Tang Yuqi heaved a sigh of relief and said to Lin Yi gratefully, "Brother Lin, thank you for helping me out this time. If not, I really don't know what to do." But, you shouldn't have let Elder Wang leave. You should have asked him to leave the recover pill. If second aunt doesn't take the recover pill, she would probably be a cripple for the rest of her life. Oh, it's fine. Get me a room and bring Aunt Wang there. I'll treat her myself. In actuality, Lin Yi had just used the 9th form of the Fire 8 trigrams palm. His body was very weak, but he didn't show it. He wanted a room to himself so that he could recover in the name of treatment. Brother Lin can heal? Tang Yuqi was very surprised. Yes, Lin Yi is a skilled doctor. This kind of injury is nothing. Ling Shan explained to Lin Yi. Chapter 3197. Lin Yi smiled at Mrs. Tang after entering the room. Auntie Wang, don't worry. Your injuries are nothing to me. But can you keep this a secret for me? Don't tell Xuegu about this? Of course. Mrs. Tang nodded without hesitation. She was on Lin Yi's side after all, and even if Lin Yi didn't say anything, she wouldn't casually spill the beans about Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded and started channeling the 3rd stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery, healing Mrs. Tang and recovering his qi at the same time. In Tang Yuqi's room, however, Tang Yuqi was frowning. Ling Shan, this is over for now, but the association probably won't let this go easily. I'm sure they'll come looking for trouble again, and Lin Yi bro Lin will be dragged into this. Tang Yuqi sighed. It's nothing. Lin Yi only did it because of Auntie Wang. Ling Shan didn't think that it was because of Tang Yuqi. It depended on how one looked at it. Mrs. Tang and Lin Yi didn't seem to have anything to do with each other on the surface, but Ling Shan knew their relationship very well. Lin Yi getting into trouble with the association for helping Mrs. Tang wasn't a big deal. Auntie Wang is my second aunt. This is all because of me. Tang Yuqi blamed himself. It's all because I spoke too fast and reported the news of me advancing to the heaven rank. Otherwise, they wouldn't have known about this. If I had applied to leave the Overseas Cultivators Association, they might have directly approved it and wouldn't have sent anyone here. It's already happened. There's no point in talking about this. Let's see what Lin Yi has to say later, Ling Shan said. As she spoke, Lin Yi walked in with Mrs. Tang, who was as good as new. Mrs. Tang looked as if she'd just been injured, and Tang Yuqi couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. Auntie, you're better? Tang Yuqi asked, surprised. Yes, I'm better now. Mrs. Tang had absolute trust in Lin Yi. That's good. Brother Lin, I've discussed it with Ling Shan just now. The Overseas Cultivators Association won't let this go so easily. This time, they lost a heaven stage expert. They will definitely come for revenge. Tang Yuqi said. I know that, but Auntie Wang is from the Snow Valley, so she shouldn't be afraid. As long as they don't dare to cause trouble in the Snow Valley after they go back, they will only be courting death. Lin Yi said, as for me, I'm guessing that when they make a move, they will also investigate and not dare to act rashly. After all, this is not their territory. You're right, but I've troubled you, Tang Yuqi said solemnly. You should worry about yourself now. This conflict started because of you, so you are the one they want to take revenge on and threaten the most, Lin Yi said. I know, but we have to face it eventually. Now we just need to wait for my father's plane to arrive here today, and then we'll go to the Snow Valley. You're right, we're the safest in the Snow Valley, Tang Yuqi said. Actually, although Lin Yi said it casually, he still felt some pressure in his heart. After all, the Overseas Cultivators Association was different from the ancient sects here. They wouldn't be so well informed, and they wouldn't know about Lin Yi's deeds. If they really came here without a plan, then Lin Yi wouldn't be able to deal with it. After all, it was just a rumor that Lin Yi could instantly kill a heaven stage late phase peak master. Now, it was already very difficult for Lin Yi to kill a heaven stage mid-phase peak Elder Chen, and he needed a long time to recover his strength. If Elder Wang made a move earlier, then Lin Yi would definitely die. These constructed lies would be easily broken. Lin Yi was really afraid that these things would happen, but there was nothing he could do even if he was afraid. Lin Yi didn't regret it. After all, Auntie Wang helped him in the Snow Valley, which made him very grateful. Not long after Lin Yi returned home, he received a call from the orphanage, Xiao Ken. Brother Lin, it's me, Xiao Ken. Xiao Ken said, the situation at the orphanage isn't very good these days. There's some cash flow problems, and Sister Xiao Ku has been very distressed. Lin Yi picked up the phone and heard Xiao Ken's complaints. In fact, he was very helpless. Kong Ming Ming's side's reaction was too fast, and he directly launched the Medicine Cauldron upgrade service, so that Lin Yi could only postpone the new upgrade to make new peripherals. However, the manufacturing and research and development of the peripherals still needed a certain amount of time, which caused a gap in time. Recently, the sales of the Medicine Cauldron had plummeted, and they had to leave funds to research and develop peripherals to build cloud servers. In this way, the allocation for the orphanage would naturally decrease. However, the construction of the orphanage had already started, and there was no turning back. They couldn't stop now. In fact, Yu Xiaoke herself was surprised that Lin Yi and Fatty Lai would agree to her idea of a charity group. It was true that Yu Xiaoke wholeheartedly did everything for the children, but she wasn't an idiot. Lin Yi's free help time and time again made Yu Xiaoke unable to accept it. She knew that she owed Lin Yi more and more, and Yu Dake hinted that Lin Yi still liked her, which made Yu Xiaoke very depressed. However, for the children in the orphanage, Yu Xiaoke could only accept it. She would take one step at a time. So, even when Lin Yi's side decreased the allocation, Yu Xiaoke didn't call or ask. She was afraid that if she called, Lin Yi would make some unreasonable request. In fact, Yu Xiaoke was quite puzzled. Was she really that good? Lin Yi had so much money, and he had so many pretty girls around him. Was there a need to spend so much effort on her? Yu Xiaoke felt that she wasn't worth so much money. However, Lin Yi's support was endless. This made Yu Xiaoke feel strange, but she couldn't stop. She couldn't reject it even if she wanted to. Xianxia wanted to earn some money to relieve her stress. Even if it was a drop in the bucket, it was better than nothing. However, Xianxia didn't know what else to do other than being a thief. Ken, on the other hand, saw all of this. He couldn't help but call Lin Yi. Lin Yi thought for a moment, and an idea came to his mind. He quickly said, "I have an idea. The superstar Su Shihan is with me right now. If we can let her hold a charity concert and a fundraiser, we might be able to earn some money, but not too much. It won't be comparable to Fatty Lie's support." Chapter 3198. Sure, that's great. I'll tell Xiaokasis now, so that she won't have to worry and become a thief again, Xiaoken said happily. Tell her about it. I'll discuss it with Su Shihan, Linny said. Okay. Thank you, Linny bro. Xiaoken prepared to tell Xiaoka the good news. On Xiaoka's side, she heard the news from Xiaoken. She knew that Xiaoken must be looking for Lin Yi, or else Lin Yi wouldn't know that she would be worried. However, she had no reason to reject Lin Yi's proposal. After hesitating for a while, Xiaoka finally agreed and went to report to the headmaster. On the other hand, Lin Yi found Su Shihan, who was rehearsing with Jianghu upstairs. He told her about the charity concert, and Su Shihan happily agreed. After all, she had a good relationship with Lin Yi, and during this period of time, Lin Yi's careful protection made Su Shihan very grateful, so she agreed without hesitation. As Su Shihan's best friend, Jianghu naturally agreed to participate in the concert. Su Shihan was already very popular, and with the addition of Jianghu, this concert would be very successful. After all, Su Shihan and Jianghu had two different styles. One was a pure and innocent girl, and the other was sexy and hot. Their fans didn't overlap, and this would increase the number of people attending the concert. One more thing, I have a friend in Europe, and she wants to invite you to Europe for a performance or a business event. Are you interested? Linny asked. Oh, Europe. Su Shihan paused. She was very popular in the Asia market, but she wasn't that popular in Europe. Inviting her to Europe for a performance was something that had never happened before, and so she was smart enough to figure it out immediately. Linny, I'm afraid that this time it's not me but you? Your friend wanted to see you, but you refused because you were my bodyguard. Is that why she invited me? All right, you guessed it. Linny didn't expect Shihan to be this smart, guessing it right away. Sure, it's a good thing to expand the market. Of course, there's no problem. Shihan nodded. What Xiaoka didn't expect was that when she told the dean about Su Shihan coming to the orphanage, the dean, who had never objected to anything before, suddenly objected to Xiaoka's suggestion. Don't invite Su Shihan here. This is an orphanage. We don't need those things. The dean's eyes flashed with a strange look. She shook her head and rejected the idea. Xiaoka froze. She thought she heard it wrong. Master, this is a good thing. Besides, it's normal for celebrities to do a performance. They have a lot of fans. If each of them donate, it'll be a lot. Why don't we need it? Xiaoka, I don't think it's appropriate to do this. Besides, they have their own things to do. Aren't you asking them to do a performance because Lin Yi is doing them a favor? The dean thought about it and said. But, Lin Yi has done a lot of favors for the orphanage. I can't even repay it in my entire life. This time won't make a difference, right? Xiaoka was a bit troubled. Logically speaking, the dean shouldn't have rejected it, and the reason he did it sounded so far-fetched. Xiaoka didn't know what to make of it. I just don't want to trouble others, the dean said helplessly after hearing Xiaoka's words. Then let's see what Lin Yi thinks. If he makes it difficult, then forget it. If he doesn't, then we'll go with the plan? Xiaoka said. Okay, let's see what Lin Yi thinks. The dean nodded. On Lin Yi's side, after getting confirmation from Su Shihan and Jianghu, he called Xiaoka. What? Xiaoka was excited and looking forward to it, but when the words were at the tip of her tongue, it turned into a cold what? It was as if she didn't want to answer the call. Lin Yi didn't mind. He only smiled. Xiaoka, I've already told Su Shihan and Jianghu. They can participate in the charity performance and help with the donation. They won't take a single cent from the donation. It'll all be transferred into the orphanage's account. Ah, really? That's great. Xiaoka didn't think that Jianghu would come as well. Two celebrities were more appealing than one. This way, The orphanage's financial problems would be temporarily alleviated. When Xiaoka picked up the call, the dean was right beside her. Seeing the excited Xiaoka, she felt helpless. She didn't know what to say. It seemed like even though she was against it, she could only agree to Xiaoka's request. Of course it's true. Get ready here. I'll get someone to plan it and then we'll go. Lin Yi said. Okay. Xiaoka nodded happily. After hanging up, Xiaoka turned to the dean. Master, now that Lin Yi's done, you won't object anymore, right? It's done. What else can I say? The dean smiled and said to Xiaoka, just do it according to your plan. Thank you, master. Xiaoka saw that her master agreed and was very happy. Su Shihan and Cheng Yi's charity concert and charity event were all planned by their manager and company. Lin Yi didn't need to worry about it. In his free time, Lin Yi focused on condensing the forging fire. Now, Lin Yi could control the forging fire. Next, Lin Yi could officially condense the jade space. But what made Lin Yi unhappy was that his sky-class early phase strength didn't show any signs of breaking through. His strength was still the same. Even if Lin Yi had the jade space to help him, this training speed still didn't satisfy Lin Yi. Lin Yi missed the days when he slept with Wang Xinyan. His training speed at that time was really fast. However, there was a limit to the fragrance in Wang Xinyan's body. If he breathed too much of it, her body would have problems. So, Lin Yi would rather slow down his training speed than touch Wang Xinyan. Fortunately, the jade space could be refined. It was a comfort to Lin Yi. Chapter 3199. After informing Su Shihan, Cheng Yi, and Yushu that he was going into closed-door training for a few days, Lin Yi returned to his room and prepared the 3 materials needed for condensing the jade pendant. Then, he went through the method of condensing the jade pendant in detail. After all, this was his first time condensing. Lin Yi still followed the principle of being careful and doing it step by step. The jade pendant wouldn't be damaged, but if the condensing failed, all the materials would be wasted. And these materials were collected by Lin Yi through hard work. Naturally, he couldn't just watch them go to waste. According to the instructions, Lin Yi put a certain proportion of colored steel, pure yellow jade, and blue crystal powder on the ground. There were no special requirements for the environment needed for the casting. It wasn't like alchemists who needed a cauldron to cast. As for blacksmiths, they relied on their own forging fire to condense and change the shape of the materials. As long as the ground could withstand the temperature of Lin Yi's forging fire, then he could smoothly condense the jade pendant space. After preparing these things, Lin Yi slowly took off the jade pendant on his neck. This jade pendant was what Lin Yi relied on all the way. Naturally, he had to be careful, afraid that he would accidentally break it. Jiao Lao, can you still hear me? Lin Yi subconsciously asked after taking off the jade pendant. No answer. It seemed that the connection between the jade pendant space was only built on the condition that it was in contact with his body. Once the jade pendant left his body, it wouldn't communicate with him. Thinking of this, Lin Yi held the jade pendant in his hand again and asked tentatively, Jiao Lao, can you still hear me now? I can now, Jiao Lao's voice sounded. Lin Yi, are you starting to condense the jade pendant space? Yes. Lin Yi nodded. After forging, I can already control it skillfully. Now I plan to condense the space in the jade pendant. Jiao Lao, do you have any instructions for me? No, I don't know these things either. Jiao Yazi said, you should refine according to the instructions, you shouldn't fail. All right. Lin Yi gritted his teeth and placed the jade pendant between the 3 materials. Then, he began to condense the forging fire and began to refine the jade pendant space according to the instructions. The method seemed simple, but every step had to be repeated a certain number of times and a certain amount of time. If it wasn't for Lin Yi's super endurance, he would have given up long ago. This was because the time required to forge weapons was much longer than refining pills, and the steps were much more complicated. Not only must both hands be able to condense the forging fire, but one hand must also assist in changing the shape of the material and fusing it with the jade pendant. However, although Lin Yi was mediocre in refining pills, he was quite talented in forging weapons. In other words, the art of dragon mastery had changed Lin Yi's talent. Although refining the jade pendant space was extremely complicated, Lin Yi still carried it out in an orderly manner under the instructions. 3 days passed in the boring process of refining. Lin Yi wasn't in a hurry, but he followed the instructions step by step. Finally, All the steps were completed in the early morning of the fourth day. Lin Yi watched as the colored steel, pure topaz, and blue crystal powder were all fused with the jade pendant. Then, he increased the temperature of the forging fire according to the instructions and began the last step of refining the jade pendant. Fastening. 3 hours later, Lin Yi saw that the luster on the jade pendant was getting closer and closer to when it wasn't being refined. He slowly put away the forging fire. The jade pendant space was finally condensed successfully. Looking at the jade pendant in his hand, Lin Yi was very excited. Is this the jade pendant that has been condensed? But there's nothing special about it from before. At least from the outside, it looks exactly the same. Jiao Lao, this jade pendant space is refined successfully, but it doesn't look special? Lin Yi couldn't help but ask. Of course there's nothing special about this jade pendant, but the jade pendant space is formed. Jiao Lao said indifferently, you can't see the space you used for cultivation even if you hold it in your hand now. This is true. Lin Yi nodded. What should I do then? Elder Jiao explained. Wear the jade pendant space on your body and use your mind to sense it. You'll find that there's a small storage space next to the jade pendant's cultivation space. You can put your items in there. Oh. Lin Yi quickly put the jade pendant on his body and began to sense the jade pendant space with his mind. Sure enough, there was a small independent space next to the jade pendant space that was normally used for cultivation. Although the space wasn't big, it really formed. This made Lin Yi very excited. Is this considered a success? Yes, won't you know if it's a success or not if you try? Jiao Lao asked. Try. How do I need to try? Lin Yi said quickly. It's still your mind. For example, you can use your mind to put the teacup on the table into your jade pendant space. Jiao Lao said. I'll try. Lin Yi couldn't wait to look at the teacup on the table. Then, he began to use his mind to put the teacup into his jade pendant space. Sure enough, the teacup on the table disappeared out of thin air. The next moment, Lin Yi saw the teacup on the table in the newly formed jade pendant space. The teacup was perfectly still in the jade pendant space. Lin Yi tried to shake his body, but the teacup was still in the jade pendant space. It didn't shake with him. In this way, even if Lin Yi put a cup of water in the space, it could be guaranteed that it wouldn't spill out. How is it? It's not bad, right? Jiao Yazi asked. Not bad, very good. It's amazing. Lin Yi said with some excitement. With such a space, Lin Yi could carry some important things with him and didn't have to worry about losing them. Lin Yi immediately put the map fragments in the drawer, the used energy stones, the spiritual beast essence Niden, the remaining materials for refining the jade pendant space, and the few heaven-level divine weapons and other useful things into the jade pendant space. However, the weight of the jade pendant didn't increase at all. This made Lin Yi click his tongue in wonder. Chapter 3200. Oh. What news? Lin Yi was slightly stunned and asked quickly. After the next stone door is opened, there will be a second refining method for the jade space. After refining the jade space, you can get even more magical benefits. Jiao Lao said. What benefits? Lin Yi couldn't wait to ask, but after asking, he shook his head and smiled bitterly. I'm afraid I don't need to guess. You will say that your memory hasn't been unlocked yet, and you don't know for the time being, right? Yes, why ask if you already know? Jiao Lao said matter-of-factly, which made Lin Yi angry. The success of refining the jade space made Lin Yi somewhat excited. In the following days, Lin Yi also began to help Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi prepare for the orphanage's benefit concert. Such a big event must be publicized in advance. This publicity period needed at least a month. Otherwise, even if a big star suddenly held a concert, it would be impossible to achieve the desired effect. And during this time, what was worth being excited about was that Han Jingjing's new alchemy peripheral was successfully put into the market. Those sects and families who originally thought that Heaven Elixir sect's counterfeit cauldrons could also be upgraded were dumbfounded. You can upgrade it, but this peripheral needs to be connected to a wireless network and through server authentication to calculate data. How can Heaven Elixir sect imitate it? Of course, this peripheral not only made those who bought Heaven Elixir sect's cauldrons dumbfounded, but it also made Kong Mingming a little unprepared. He didn't expect Lu Jinghan to directly release the peripheral without upgrading it. This made Dr. Benjamin Tu, who originally cracked the MCU encryption, completely useless. because the peripheral's encryption method was completely different from before. If he wanted to crack it, he had to study it again. The previous promise of Heaven Elixir Sect to provide upgrade services as soon as possible became empty words. After all, Dr. Benjamin too hadn't cracked it yet. What could he use to upgrade? Although they had sold a lot of them before and had accumulated a lot of customers, if they couldn't provide upgrade services in a short time, the reputation of the Heavenly Elixir Sect would be ruined. At that time, it would be even more difficult to sell these things. After all, after so many piracy attacks, it was hard to say whether those customers would still believe in Heaven Elixir Sect's counterfeit cauldrons. Professor Benjamin II, when will you be able to crack this peripheral? Kong Ming Ming was a little anxious. Although he had made some money before, it was nothing compared to the loss of the first-grade medicinal pellets. After all, half of the profits were given to Miss Luan. Kong Ming Ming only enjoyed half. This half was sold under the banner of Heaven Elixir Sect, using the reputation of Heaven Elixir Sect, so he had to leave half for Heaven Elixir Sect. In the end, the remaining 25% belonged to the Xianxia ancestor. Calculating it this way, there really wasn't much left. This was also the reason why Kong Xiaoming was annoyed. He and the Xianxia ancestor were now grasshoppers on a string. If the Xianxia ancestor lost money, it was equivalent to Kong Xiaoming losing money. It can't be cracked in a short time. Dr. Benjamin Tu said, I have seen the server of the Lu Group. It uses a database and background system that are not available on the market. It should be self-made. The security is very high. At least with my strength, I can't crack it in a short time. What? That means we have no hope? Our medicinal cauldron can't be upgraded? Kong Ming Ming was shocked after listening. He didn't want this medicinal cauldron to be put aside and unable to be upgraded. Then who could he sell it to? It's not that there is no way. There is a way, but it is a little more troublesome, said Dr. Benjamin Tu. What way? Asked Kong Ming Ming quickly. It's very simple. That is to buy more of these peripherals and medicinal cauldrons. Then, find a large group of alchemists to use these peripherals to refine elixirs and intercept and save the data transmitted from the server. With so much data, it basically covers the parameters of other alchemists. Generally, they can be matched and used. If there are a few that can't be used, then we can customize it for them and let them use the peripherals of the Lu Group to experiment with alchemy. After intercepting the data, we will upgrade them, said Dr. Benjamin Tu. How many medicinal cauldrons and peripherals do we need to invest? Kong Ming Ming took a breath of cold air. Moreover, if I buy a set of peripherals and medicinal cauldrons for people to experiment with, won't I lose a lot? Upgrading is cheaper than Lin Yi's side. If I buy a set of Lin Yi's medicinal cauldrons and peripherals just for one parameter, am I not crazy? Then there is no other way. What I said is the easiest way to achieve at present. If you don't accept this method, then I can only slowly study the Lu Group server, but don't have too much hope, said Dr. Benjamin Tu. What should I do? Kong Ming Ming was very unwilling. Dr. Benjamin said so, which meant that there was really no way, but he didn't want his career, which had just made money, to die. You can think of other ways. For example, how did you get the MCU program? You can continue to use the same method to get the server's program back, said Dr. Benjamin. Then, if I get the server's program, what if he upgrades it again? Asked Kong Ming Ming. Upgrading again is unlikely. What I can think of is that the functions of this medicinal cauldron are already the limit. Adding more is just increasing the types of alchemy. However, whether it is to upgrade the MCU program or the server, it doesn't matter. We have already cracked the MCU. After it upgrades, we can launch the corresponding upgrade program in a day or even a few hours. Dr. Benjamin Tu said, if it is a server upgrade, it doesn't matter. I don't believe that they can recreate a new set of background systems and databases with this set of background systems and databases. They just need to upgrade, but as long as I have the source code, I can find the loopholes and ways to crack it. So, for me there is no pressure. In other words, if I get the server's background code and database, then everything will be fine, right? After Kong Ming Ming listened, he rekindled his hope. You can say that. Dr. Benjamin Tu nodded and said. Chapter 3201. The previous method definitely wouldn't work. Not to mention the fact that Lu Jinghan must have changed the key and the password to the secret room. Even if she could get in, the server might not be placed in Lu's office, so this method definitely wouldn't work. If this didn't work, then what should he do? Kong Ming Ming also had a headache. Although he had a lot of ideas, Lu's group was obviously prepared for this matter. If they weren't prepared, they wouldn't have introduced this kind of peripheral. So Kong Ming Ming had almost no chance to take advantage of it. After hanging up the phone, Kong Ming Ming found the Xianxia ancestor and told him what Dr. Benjamin Tu said. The Xianxia ancestor's face also became extremely ugly. He didn't expect Lin Yi to make such a quick response. It seems that this Lin Yi has a lot of connections. He can actually contact the world's top hacker to make a server for him. We underestimated him. The Xianxia ancestor frowned. Then what do we do now, father-in-law? Kong Ming Ming said worriedly, it's just that Lin Yi is a powerless solo cultivator. How did he find these people? We can cooperate with Dr. Benjamin too, and Lin Yi can also cooperate with others. These are not problems. The Xianxia ancestor sighed and said, the important thing is that we must come up with a countermeasure now. The previous method won't work, but I think you can still start with Lu Tianli. Start with Lu Tianli? How is that possible? Kong Ming Ming said, Lu Tianli can't open the door to Lu Jing'an's office now, and it's useless even if he did. The server might not be stored in the company. We can't find it at all. What I mean is, you kidnap Lu Tianli and then force Lu Jinghan to hand over the source code of the server. The Xianxia ancestor said, I believe you're familiar with the kidnapping method? You've used this method many times. Didn't you kidnap Guan Xian to force Lin Yi to hand over the recipe? This is true. Kong Ming Ming's eyes suddenly lit up after listening. However, can Lu Jinghan give in? Don't let me kidnap the girl, and she'll give up. After all, this stuff belongs to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi doesn't agree, we won't get the program even if Tianli dies. Whether it works or not, it's still possible to give it a try. Patriarch Xianxia said, this is the only solution I can think of at the moment. Try it first. If it doesn't work, we'll think of something else. All right, then I'll go tie him up now. Kong Ming Ming nodded. But, father-in-law, you have to help me send some ruthless people this time. That Lin Yi can even kill a sky-class late phase peak in a second. If Lin Yi finds out about us, I'll definitely die. You don't want little 11 to be a widow at such a young age, do you? I'll let little Yi go with you. After you kidnap Lu Tianli, don't make a sound. Just bring him to 5 Elements sect. No matter how strong Lin Yi is, he won't dare to barge into 5 Elements sect alone. At that time, he'll either give up on Lu Tianli or submit. The Xianxia ancestor said. But based on my analysis, with how much Lin Yi cares for his brothers, he'll most likely agree to your request. That's true. Lin Yi actually started a feud with House Kong for that idiot Kong Xiaobo. I think Lin Yi is about the same now. Kong Ming Ming listened to the Xianxia ancestor's analysis and became interested. All right, I'll go get little Yi to go with you. The Xianxia ancestor contacted little Yi and asked him to go with Kong Ming Ming. Lu Tianli's power was taken away, but he was still staying in the sanatorium. No matter what, he was still Lu Jing'an's father. Even if Lu Jinghan was angry, she couldn't do anything to him. So all he had to do was take away all his power in the company and let him spend the rest of his life in the sanatorium. But even without any punishment, Lu Tianli's life wasn't easy. He had tasted the benefits of drugs once again, but Lu Jinghan cut it off after a few days, and those cigarettes were confiscated as well. So Lu Tianli's days were as long as a year. But Lu Tianli didn't have a choice. He was restricted from contacting the outside world. He had no phone, no landline, only a walkie-talkie to talk to the guards outside. He didn't have to worry about food or clothing anymore. Whatever he wanted to eat, whatever he wanted to buy, he just had to call for it and someone would send it over. There were cigarettes too, but none with drugs in them. After getting used to the smell of drugs, other cigarettes didn't smell anymore. Man, what bad luck. If there are more cigarettes, I'll have to dig a hole to bury them. I can't let Jing find out. Lu Tianli mumbled. However, just as he was grumbling, a familiar figure appeared in front of him in the next moment, causing him to be shocked. You are Kong Ming Ming? Lu Tianli immediately recognized the person in front of him. It was Kong Ming Ming who gave him the cigarettes. Of course, although he hated Kong Ming Ming for taking advantage of him, He couldn't do anything about it. Who asked him to like drugs? Mr. Liu, we meet again. Little E stood beside Kong Xiaoming, but he didn't say anything. Kong Xiaoming was the main battlefield here, and he was just a foil. Regarding Kong Xiaoming replacing his position as Ancestor Xuanqin's son-in-law, Little E was both helpless and relaxed. Little 11 had become like that, to be honest. He didn't want him anymore, but becoming Ancestor Xuanqin's son-in-law represented a supreme position. Now, in the Five Elements sect, Kong Mingming's position had already surpassed Little E, and he was always by the side of the Xianxia elder. Of course, this was how things were. There were gains and losses, so Little E couldn't do anything about it. Kong Mingming, what are you doing here again? Lu Tianli frowned, but a hint of desire flashed in his eyes. Kong Mingming, did you bring me cigarettes? You want cigarettes? Sure, I'll bring you to a place. You have to act with me, and I'll provide you with cigarettes. I'll give you as many as you want. Kong Mingming said. Really? Lu Tianli's eyes lit up immediately when he heard cigarettes. Of course, why would I lie to you? Kong Mingming said faintly. Do you think I have the time to talk to you about these things? That's true. Lu Tianli nodded. Tell me, what do you need me to do? Chapter 3202. Are you for real? There's such a good thing? Tianli didn't really believe that there was such a good thing. After all, he didn't even have to do anything, and all he had to do was give him drugs. Was there something wrong with Kong Mingming's head? You just need to cooperate with us. You don't have to care about what we want to do. Just tell us if you agree or not. In fact, Kong Mingming could have taken Tianli away by force, but he was afraid of alerting the people outside and drawing Lin Yi over. That was why he decided to trick Tianli away. You guys want to kidnap me and use Jing as a hostage, right? Tianli wasn't stupid. He used to be a big shot in the business world, and so he understood what Kong Mingming was thinking after a moment of silence. After all, Kong Xiaoming was the one who brought him to steal Lu Jing'an's company secrets, and now it seemed like stealing wasn't going to work. That was why he thought of kidnapping Lu Tianli, but this kidnapping was a lure, not a forceful one. Smart. Kong Mingming nodded. Mr. Liu is a straightforward man. Since you already know, are you going to cooperate or not? If I say no, you'll still kidnap me, right? Tianli looked at Little E beside Kong Mingming. The one beside you is a master, isn't he? Even if I don't go, you'll force me to go. You're just afraid of alerting the enemy, aren't you? Since you've guessed it, then I'll cut to the chase. Kong Mingming nodded. Come with us. All right. Tianli sighed. He felt really guilty and sorry for Lu Jinghan, but the temptation of the drugs made his legs stand up involuntarily. He had lost himself after taking the drugs, and the temptation was greater than anything else. With Tianli's cooperation, Kong Xiaoming and Little E brought Tianli out of the villa and the sanatorium without alerting the guards, disappearing into the night. Kong Mingming brought Lu Tianli back to Five Elements sect that very night. Only in Five Elements sect could Kong Mingming feel safe. Last time when Lin Yi came looking for him, Kong Ming was scared half to death. If it wasn't for the masters from House Yu, he would have died. This time, after arriving at the Five Elements sect, he dialed Lu Jing'an's number. Jing'an's phone number wasn't a secret. He just had to ask Tianli to find out. In the middle of the night, Lu Jinghan was sitting on the bed, holding a tablet to design something. Suddenly, the phone rang. Lu Jinghan picked up the phone and looked at it. It was a strange number. She thought it was a wrong number or a harassing call, but she didn't expect the phone to ring non-stop, so Lu Jinghan picked it up. Hello, I'm Jinghan, Jinghan said as she picked up the phone. Hello, Miss Lu. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kong Mingming. I believe you've heard of me for a long time now, haven't you? Kong Mingming laughed shamelessly. Ha 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 ha. Kong Mingming? What's the matter? Jinghan frowned. Naturally, she knew what kind of person Kong Mingming was. He was the one who caused all the trouble, but Jinghan didn't have a way to take revenge. Miss Lu, your father likes to take drugs. Why don't you let him do it? Kong Mingming said. You called me just to say this? Jinghan asked curiously. What do you want to do? Nothing much. I just want to tell you that your father is a drug addict. He's doing it beside me right now. Haha, he's having a good time. But if he overdoses, he'll die. Kong Xiaoming said indifferently. That's right. What do you want to do? Jing'an's voice was a little angry. Kong Ming, what did you do to my father? Why is he at your place? Of course, I invited him as a guest, but it seems that he likes it here very much. Kong Ming smiled. Miss Lu, I suggest that you buy a coffin now, and then collect his body. He'll probably die in 3 to 5 days. Kong Ming, what do you want to do? Just say it. You don't have to say these useless things. Lu Jinghan said coldly. She was actually very angry in her heart. My father is really too much. Kong Ming obviously wants to harm me, but he still wants to take drugs? Of course, people who take drugs can't think with common sense. It's also reasonable that they can't resist the temptation of drugs. Good, straightforward. Lu Jinghan, I won't waste time with you. How about this? You send me all the information about the first-grade cauldron's peripherals and the server's program. Also, give me the content for the next step of upgrading, and I'll consider letting your father go back. Otherwise, I'll treat him well and let him take drugs here until he bursts out, Xiaoming said. Lu Jinghan was enraged by Kong Ming's words, but she couldn't do anything. She could only sigh and say, I can't decide these things. I have to ask Lin Yi. Do whatever you want, but you have to hurry. Otherwise, when your father dies, don't blame me for not reminding you. Kong Ming said. Okay, I will contact you as soon as possible. Although Lu Jinghan was angry, she still agreed. After all, this was her father. She couldn't ignore it. In that case, I will wait for Miss Lu's good news. Kong Ming said. Although it was late at night, after Lu Jinghan hung up the phone, she quickly dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was practicing when the phone rang. He glanced at it and saw that it was Lu Jing'an's number, so Lin Yi picked it up directly. Jinghan, why did you call me in the middle of the night? What happened? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi bro, my father was kidnapped by Kong Ming. He wants to use this as a threat to force me to hand over the manufacturing data of the first-class cauldron and the source code of the server. Lu Jinghan said. What? Lin Yi frowned. Why was there a problem with Lu Tianli again? Why was this Lu Tianli always causing problems? However, for the sake of his face, Lin Yi asked patiently. What happened? Tell me in detail. When did this happen? Just now. Lu Jinghan didn't hide anything and told Lin Yi everything that happened, including what Kong Ming said on the phone. Chapter 3203. It should be. But Lin Yi bro, you know that people who take drugs aren't normal. He can't control his thoughts, Lu Jinghan explained for Tianli. Since he likes taking drugs so much, then let him do it at Kong Ming's place. Don't let him come back. Lin Yi humphed coldly. Who knows? He might not be happy even if you let him come back. Lu Jing'an's heart sank. From Lin Yi's tone, it seemed like he wasn't going to care about Tianli's matter anymore. This made her anxious. Lin Yi bro, no matter what. He's my father. Lu Jinghan, I've already given you a lot of face. Who do you think you are? Lin Yi said impatiently. As the saying goes, you can do it twice, but not thrice. The first time, he almost destroyed the company because of drugs, and I let him go. The second time, he brought Kong Ming to steal the company's secrets, and I let him go as well. The third time, he willingly followed Kong Ming to take drugs. What else can I do? But Lu Jinghan still wanted to say something, but Lin Yi rejected her coldly. Okay, that's it. Don't disturb my training. Lin Yi said coldly. Don't take Jing's tolerance for granted. She spent a lot of effort to invent these things. Lu Jinghan wanted to say something, but Lin Yi had already hung up. Lu Jinghan quickly called again, but Lin Yi quickly hung up. Evidently, Lin Yi was really angry and didn't want to pick up Lu Jing'an's call anymore. Sigh. Lu Jinghan sighed faintly. She closed the tablet and put it in her backpack. She put on her jacket and quickly went downstairs to the garage of the villa. In the garage, there were 2 white BMW X5M parked quietly. Lu Jinghan used the remote control to open the door of one of the BMWs, but after some hesitation, she took out the other remote control from her backpack and opened the door of the other BMW. After getting in, she plugged in the remote control and started the car. She quickly drove out of the garage and onto the highway to Donghai City. At 4 in the morning, Lu Jinghan's BMW stopped in front of Lin Yi's villa. Lu Jinghan dragged her tired body out of the car and went to Lin Yi's villa. She didn't ring the doorbell, but sent a message to Lin Yi. "I'm at the door of your villa, Jing." Lu Jinghan waited quietly for Lin Yi after sending the message. Lin Yi was cultivating when he heard the notification of a message on his phone. He saw the message from Lu Jinghan. He didn't expect Lu Jinghan to be at the door of his villa. Originally, Lin Yi didn't want to see Lu Jinghan. Even if she was waiting at the door of the villa, Lin Yi didn't have any sympathy. However, when Lin Yi saw the signature of the message, he couldn't help but frown. He didn't like the nickname, Jing. After all, this name represented Han Jingjing in Lin Yi's heart, and Lin Yi only recognized Han Jingjing as Jing. However, when he saw Jing, Lin Yi thought of Han Jingjing. He thought of Han Jingjing pleading for Lu Jinghan again and again. This made Lin Yi's heart soften. He decided to see Lu Jinghan for Han Jingjing, but not to let Lu Tianli go, but to make her give up. Lin Yi put down his phone and left the room. He opened the door of the villa and saw Lu Jinghan standing outside the iron gate with a haggard face. Lin Yi walked over and opened the iron gate. Lu Jinghan walked in quietly and locked the car with the remote control. However, there was no sound when the car was locked, so Lin Yi didn't notice Lu Jinghan's car, which made Lu Jinghan a little disappointed. After entering the villa, Lin Yi said, "Let's talk in my room. They're all sleeping upstairs. Don't disturb them." With that, Lin Yi walked in front, and Lu Jinghan followed behind. The two entered the room one after the other. After entering the room, Lin Yi signaled for Lu Jinghan to lock the door. "Lu Jinghan, even if you came here in the middle of the night, I'll still say the same thing. Lu Tianli has crossed the line. I can't let him do it again and again. Lin Yi bro, can you forgive him this time? Can it be the last time? After all, he's my father." Lu Jinghan's voice was trembling. "Everyone has to be responsible for what they do," Lin Yi said faintly. "He's ruined the company's business again and again. There's no need for me to keep him. Actually, if it wasn't for Jing pleading for your House Lu, there would be no need for House Lu to exist after what Lu Tianli did the first time. The second time it was the same. Jing pleaded for House Lu, and I didn't say anything else. But you have to remember, Jing might be doing this because she's your best friend, but this isn't what she should do. She used her own blood, sweat, and tears to exchange for Lu Tianli's safety. Jing, is she very important in your heart?" Lu Jinghan asked faintly. "It's important. Very important." Lin Yi nodded. "Since you're her best friend, then you should know some things about her. Without her, all my businesses would be destroyed. Plus, she's helped me a lot in other areas as well. This is also why I won't let Lu Tianli go this time. Do you know how many days and nights Jing didn't sleep when she invented these things?" "I know," Lu Jinghan said with a complicated expression. "You know? And you're still pleading for Lu Tianli?" Lin Yi frowned. "Lin Yi bro, please forgive my father this one time. Jing will research a lot of good stuff in the future to repay you, Lin Yi bro." A very familiar voice rang out all of a sudden, giving Lin Yi a slight shock. It was Han Jingjing's voice. "Jing? When did you come?" Lin Yi asked subconsciously, but then he realized that something was wrong. After all, Lin Yi was a sky-class early phase master now. There was no way he wouldn't notice someone entering the room, and Han Jingjing was talking about her father. Lin Yi raised his head to look at Lu Jinghan, his eyes filled with disbelief. There was no one else in the room other than Lu Jinghan. Chapter 3204. You're Han Jingjing? Lin Yi was sure that the owner of this familiar voice was Han Jingjing. "Yeah." Han Jingjing nodded. "I'm so sleepy, Lin Yi bro. I've been studying the second-class cauldron these days. As for the first-class cauldron, if Kong Ming wants it, I'll just give it to him, okay? As long as you say it's okay." Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry after the shock. You're Han Jingjing? Then why are you asking me? You invented all these things, you can give it to whoever you want, you don't need to ask me at all. Jingjing, I'm sorry, I wasn't nice to you before. It's okay, who asked me to lie to Lin Yi bro? Han Jingjing rubbed her eyes. I'm so sleepy, I'll take a nap first. Lin bro, I'll leave my dad's matter to you. Also, can you help me park the car outside in the garage? It's blocking the road there. With that, Han Jingjing closed her eyes on Lin Yi's bed. Lin Yi looked at the exhausted Han Jingjing, and his heart ached. Han Jingjing was the one who helped him without asking for anything in return, and now she still had to ask him when something happened to Tianli. It really made Lin Yi feel sorry for her. Lin Yi pulled the blanket over Han Jingjing. He had a lot of questions, but he had to wait for Han Jingjing to wake up first. Lin Yi took Han Jingjing's BMW keys and walked out of the villa. This time, when Lin Yi's eyes landed on the BMW's license plate, he froze. This license plate was actually Han Jingjing's license plate, and not the license plate of the car that Lu Jinghan used to drive. Both cars were white BMW X5M, but the license plate was different, and Lin Yi didn't notice it before because he was annoyed. Now it seemed that Lu Jinghan came back this time with the intention of having a showdown with him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have driven the car that belonged to Han Jingjing. Lin Yi got in the car and drove it to the parking lot in the yard. Then, he dialed Kong Mingming's phone number. Isn't this Mr. Lin Yi? Mr. Lin Yi, why do you have the time to call a small fry like me? Kong Mingming received a call from Lin Yi. He was very excited. It seemed that Lin Yi was going to compromise. Kong Mingming, cut the crap. I can give you the things, but when are you going to release him? Lin Yi was not in the mood to argue with Kong Mingming, so he asked directly. Mr. Lin Yi, if you give me the things, I will naturally release him, said Kong Mingming. I can give you the information of the peripherals and the source code of the server, but I haven't designed the new version of the upgrade program and plan. I don't have it even if you want it. Lin Yi naturally couldn't give the information of Han Jingjing's second-grade medicinal cauldron to Kong Mingming. Well, these are fine too. Kong Mingming actually didn't expect to get the upgrade information before. After all, it was good enough to get these. Okay, I'll send these things to your email. I have your email address. Is it the same one from last time? Lin Yi asked. Okay, I'll send them to your email. Yes, after you sent it, I read it. If it's true, I will release him, said Kong Mingming. You'd better do what you say. Otherwise, you know my character. Your Kong family is in the secular world. If you want the Kong family to die, play some tricks. Lin Yi said faintly. Of course, Lin Yi's threat could work. If Lin Yi really kidnapped the Kong family to exchange with Kong Mingming might not agree to the exchange. He could sacrifice his brother's wife for his own benefit. Why couldn't he sacrifice the entire Kong family? Kong Mingming was a cold person, so ordinary methods couldn't be used to deal with him. Don't worry, Mr. Lin Yi. My reputation is still good, said Kong Mingming. Oh, in that case, when can you give me my gathering chi pills? Are you going to renege on the debt? Asked Lin Yi. This? Of course not. Kong Mingming didn't expect Lin Yi to mention this again. If he didn't mention it, he would have forgotten about it. That. You also know that the gathering chi pill is relatively difficult to refine. It's not that easy to refine, so you have to wait. Don't worry. Really? I saw that you refined so many first-grade elixirs, and it was quite smooth. Why can't you do it when it comes to the gathering chi pill? You aren't brushing me off, are you? Said Lin Yi. First-grade elixirs are very simple. The gathering chi pill is a third-grade elixir. It's more complicated, said Kong Mingming. Oh, a first-grade automatic medicine cauldron is also quite complicated. You also made a copy. I don't think you take it seriously at all, right? Asked Lin Yi. Ahem. How is that possible? Don't worry, it will be over soon, said Kong Mingming quickly. All right, I hope you hurry up. Otherwise, I won't be so easy to talk to next time. Lin Yi said. You can kidnap Lu Tianli. I can kidnap Kong Cuepu and Kong Lai Kai too. Do as you see fit. Don't worry, I'll hurry up, Kong Mingming said. After hanging up, Lin Yi called Little Jiao and asked her to send the server program and peripherals information to Kong Mingming's email. On Kong Mingming's end, he really did let Lu Tianli go after receiving these things. It was a waste of food to keep Lu Tianli here. It was better to send him away as soon as possible. If he died from overdosing, Lin Yi might really vent his anger on House Kong. So Kong Ming wasn't going to take responsibility for this. Just find a disciple to send Lu Tianli back. You don't have to show your face. Xianxia ancestor said. Right. Is there any problem with the information? There's no problem with the information. Professor Benjamin too looked through it. We can release this new peripherals in a short period of time. Kong Ming explained. We need to get it on the market as soon as possible. Otherwise, we won't be able to recoup our investment. Xianxia ancestor nodded. The cost of their first-grade cauldron was different from Lin Yi's. Their cauldron was a real cauldron, while Lin Yi's was a titanium alloy replacement. So the cost of the Xianxia ancestors was higher. If these things couldn't be sold, then it would be a huge loss. All right, I will urge Professor Benjamin too to hurry up and release the upgraded product. Kong Ming nodded. And that's good. Xianxia ancestor nodded. Chapter 3205. Qi Gathering Pill. Then prepare to refine it. It is said that Lin Yi can now instantly kill a master with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven stage. There is no precedent of killing a master at the great perfection, but we have to be on guard. Lin Yi's growth has become our biggest hidden danger, so it is a good thing that we can use the Qi Gathering Pill to kill this kid. Ancestor Xianxia said. Yes, but the extreme Qi Gathering Pill is not easy to refine. I have been wasting too much energy recently, and I don't have time to study alchemy, Kong Ming said. Let's refine it slowly. Anyway, this thing can directly eat Lin Yi to death, so we don't have to worry about it. It's just that the business of this medicinal cauldron is relatively good now. If Lin Yi is dead, we have no one to imitate, so don't refine it too quickly. When his side is almost done with the upgrade, then we will kill him. Without the support of Lin Yi, the Lu group has nothing to fear. We can directly rob it. Ancestor Xianxia said. That's true, then I will go and study it. Kong Ming nodded and said. After Lin Yi finished all this, he returned to the room. Han Jingjing slept for a while and woke up. Looking at Han Jingjing who looked like Lu Jinghan in front of him, Lin Yi didn't know what to call her. Jingjing, are you Lu Jinghan or Han Jingjing? Lin Yi looked at Lu Jinghan with sleepy eyes and a very cute and innocent face. It was difficult to connect her with the smart and capable business genius girl. Both, Lu Jinghan's nickname is also Jingjing. Jingjing has hinted to you, but brother Lin Yi didn't think in that direction. Han Jingjing said, and the car I drive, Han Jingjing and Lu Jinghan's car are exactly the same, and brother Lin Yi wasn't curious. To be honest, I was really curious, and I thought that the two of you were the same person, but your appearances are too different. Your voice is different too. Oh right, how did you change your voice? Lin Yi asked curiously. It's easy to change the voice. Don't forget that Jingjing could even invent a first-grade automatic medicine cauldron. How difficult would it be to invent a voice changer? Han Jingjing said matter-of-factly. As for my appearance, I'm actually wearing 1,000 silk mask. As Han Jingjing spoke, she wiped her face. Lu Jinghan's face turned into Han Jingjing's face. Looking at the familiar face in front of him, Lin Yi sighed. She's more pleasing to the eye this way. Although Lu Jinghan is also a beauty, I still think Jingjing is more beautiful. Anyway, it's all the same. Han Jingjing didn't care. Big brother Lin Yi likes Jingjing, however he likes it. Just stay quiet and be like this. Jingjing, are you purposely acting cute in front of me? Lu Jinghan isn't like you. Lin Yi listened to Han Jingjing's voice and couldn't help but smile. Lu Jinghan is faking it. Han Jingjing shook her head. Actually, this is Jingjing's original character. Jingjing doesn't like to do business. Jingjing still likes to study science and technology. Okay, but your alchemist's strength level should always be there, right? Why didn't I notice it? Asked Lin Yi. In fact, Jingjing has never hidden the strength level of a cultivator under the state of Lu Jinghan. But it seems that big brother Lin Yi didn't think about it in this direction, right? Han Jingjing said curiously. However, Jingjing didn't deliberately show it. Maybe big brother Lin Yi overlooked it. That should be it. Lin Yi really didn't think about it in this direction before. The Lu family wasn't a cultivator family. In Lin Yi's impression, there were no cultivators in their family, and Lin Yi didn't have a good impression of Lu Jinghan at the beginning, so thinking about it now, perhaps Lin Yi had overlooked this point. However, What puzzled Lin Yi the most was also a question that he couldn't figure out. Jing Jing, why did you lie to me? Why did you appear by my side as Han Jingjing? Of course, I'm not saying that Jing Jing has ulterior motives. After all, what you did for me was free. You helped me study alchemy and helped me study the first-grade automatic medicine cauldron. You didn't ask for anything in return, but you could have used Lu Jing'an's identity to see me. Actually, Jing Jing's teacher asked Jing Jing to hide her identity and help Lin Yi in secret. Since Han Jingjing had revealed her identity, she might as well be honest with Lin Yi. This was also permitted by her teacher. If it was a last resort, she could confess the truth to Lin Yi. Your teacher? Lin Yi was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to have a teacher. A teacher who could teach such an amazing disciple like Han Jingjing definitely wasn't an ordinary person. He was probably a very impressive scientist. Yes, my teacher is called Sun Sikong. He's a very impressive scientist. Jing Jing has been secretly learning from him since she was young, but I've only learned a little bit. Jing Jing isn't as smart as my teacher. If Brother Lin Yi were to learn from me, you would definitely surpass my teacher, Han Jingjing said. When Lin Yi heard Han Jingjing's words, he immediately choked and laughed dryly. Jing Jing, you think too highly of me. After I found out that you are Lu Jinghan, I'm not used to you acting cute like this. After hearing Lin Yi's words, Han Jingjing's expression suddenly became a little gloomy. Jing Jing isn't acting cute. This is what Jing Jing's teacher said. Jing Jing said that Brother Lin Yi is the most impressive person and asked Jing Jing to assist Brother Lin Yi well. In the future, we will do something big together. Moreover, Jing Jing also said that Lu Jinghan is Jing Jing's act. The current Jing Jing is the real Jing Jing. Your teacher knows me? Lin Yi saw that Han Jingjing was speaking in all seriousness, so he didn't harp on this matter. Instead, he asked with a strange tone. Actually, it should be said that my teacher knows your teacher. The two of them have quite a relationship, Han Jingjing said. Oh, he knows my teacher? Then does he know where my teacher went? Lin Yi was a little shocked as he hurriedly asked. He knows, but Jing Jing doesn't know. Han Jingjing shook her head. Teacher didn't tell Jing Jing. Moreover, Jing Jing hasn't seen teacher for many years. He only told Jing Jing that he, Brother Lin Yi's teacher, and some other people are going to do something big together. He told Jing Jing not to worry and to study at home with a peace of mind. When her studies are successful, she will prepare to help Brother Lin Yi. Chapter 3206. My teacher has a good friend who seems to be a fortune-telling Taoist. He told me that I will meet Lin Yi brother in the future at a suitable opportunity. Only after meeting Lin Yi brother would I be able to help Lin Yi brother. He didn't allow me to look for Lin Yi brother before. Han Jingjing said, and Jing Jing's teacher also acquiesced to the Taoist's words, so Jing Jing only came here after meeting Lin Yi brother. I see. Lin Yi nodded, believing Han Jingjing's words. And now, Lin Yi had basically guessed who the Taoist was. It was Mo Kongwen, whom he had met before. Yes, Lin Yi brother, you won't blame Jing Jing for hiding it from you, right? Han Jingjing said apologetically. Of course not. Lin Yi shook his head and smiled bitterly. Since it's my teacher's order, and your teacher knows my teacher, why would I blame you? That's good. Han Jingjing patted her chest and sighed in relief. Actually, Jing Jing has always been worried that one day, Lin Yi brother will know Jing Jing's identity and ignore Jing Jing. Jing Jing is so worried. How is that possible? Lin Yi smiled comfortingly. Jing Jing, whether you are Lu Jinghan or not, whether you have another identity or not, you are the Han Jingjing I like. Don't use Lu Jing'an's face anymore. Oh, okay, I was thinking that Lin Yi brother would get sick of me and change my face. Han Jingjing said. How could he get sick of me? Lin Yi shook his head. Okay, don't think too much. Sleep well at home. Lu Tianli. You don't have to worry about Uncle Lu. When he comes back, I will help him get rid of the drug addiction in his body and let him return to normal as soon as possible. Really? That's great. Han Jingjing was very happy when she heard that. Big brother Lin Yi, you treat Jing Jing so well. Actually, no matter what, he is Jing Jing's father. That's why Jing Jing pleads for him time and time again. I know what you're thinking. You don't have to say anything, Jing Jing. If I knew he was your father, I would have helped him get rid of his drug addiction a long time ago. I wouldn't have waited until now. Lin Yi said, what's more, you don't need to discuss with me what you promised Kong Ming Ming. You can give your invention to anyone. Yes. By the way, did my father come back safely? Han Jingjing suddenly thought of Kong Ming Ming. Would he break his promise? Not yet, but it will be soon. Kong Ming Ming doesn't dare to play tricks. He doesn't need to risk the whole Kong family's destruction for a person who is insignificant to him. Lin Yi said, I have already warned him. That's good. Han Jingjing nodded. She knew that Lin Yi cared a lot about Lu Tianli. When Uncle Lu comes back, I will help him get rid of his drug addiction and let him take charge of the company again. Now that House Lu's business is on the right track, you don't need to worry about it anymore. You should stay by my side. I'm not used to it when you're not here, Lin Yi said, so the excuse you used was to go to Yanjing to manage the company. Ah? Let my father take charge of the company? Is that okay? Han Jingjing was shocked. Actually, that's not an excuse. Jingjing was really researching something. You said it yourself. He was tortured by drugs and became like this. After my treatment, he will be completely free from the control of drugs. With this lesson, he won't make the same mistake again. Lin Yi nodded. Then Jingjing will thank Lin Yi bro for trusting me on behalf of my father. Han Jingjing said gratefully. If father makes another mistake this time, Jingjing won't ask for mercy anymore. You don't need to ask for mercy, I can't do anything to him, Lin Yi shook his head. Right, Jingjing. Your family doesn't know who you are? They know a part of it, but not all of it. They know that I went out to learn from others, but they only think that I learned business knowledge and not science. Han Jingjing said. And when I go home, I always wear a mask. They don't know what I really look like. Actually, the me now is the real me. I see. Lin Yi nodded. This also explained why Lu Tianli and Lu Jianghu didn't think of asking for mercy from Han Jingjing after what happened to House Lu. They didn't know how much Han Jingjing helped them. After understanding the truth, Lin Yi let Han Jingjing go back to her mansion to rest. Although Lin Yi was curious about the second-grade cauldron, he wasn't in a hurry. Han Jingjing had been too tired recently, and Lin Yi wanted her to rest. Han Jingjing didn't reject him. She was indeed exhausted these days, and it wasn't a bad thing to rest for a few days. Of course, just as Han Jingjing was about to leave, her phone rang. Han Jingjing glanced at the ringing phone and casually pressed a button near her chest. Her voice turned into Lu Jing'an's voice. Hello. What is it? My father went back? All right. Bring him to Donghai immediately. I'm in Donghai, so I'll take a private jet. The sooner the better. The people Han Jingjing ordered were the people in charge of watching over Tianli in the sanatorium. They immediately reported to Lu Jinghan when they saw that Tianli was sent back. Since Lin Yi said that he could cure Tianli's addiction, naturally, she would send him to Donghai. After hanging up, Han Jingjing said, Lin Yi bro, I've asked someone to send my father here. Can I come to your mansion directly? Of course. Lin Yi nodded. I have something to tell him anyway. Lu Tianli, on the other hand, wasn't good at expanding his business, but he was good at keeping his business. The Lu group didn't need to expand at all, and all they sold were Han Jingjing's products. Moreover, they were working with the Cultivator Trade Association and Fatty Lie's medical company. He didn't need to expand himself at all. What Tianli was afraid of was that Lin Yi would dump House Lu one day. But he believed that once Tianli saw the close relationship between him and Lu Jinghan, he wouldn't have to worry about that anymore. He would just focus on running the company. Chapter 3207. To put it bluntly, it was because of the drugs in his body. If it weren't for the drugs, Lu Tianli wouldn't have listened to Kong Ming Ming at all. Han Jingjing went back to rest, and Lin Yi took the opportunity before Tianli came to think about what Lu Jinghan had said. From all the clues, his master and those sky-class late-phase peak masters from the ancient sects went to do the same thing. Han Jingjing didn't know what it was exactly, but old Lin probably knew. It was just that he didn't tell him about it. What was it exactly? From Han Jingjing's tone, it seemed like those masters couldn't handle it, and she needed his help? But, if those sky-class late-phase peak perfect masters couldn't handle it, could he, Lin Yi? Lin Yi didn't think that he had that much ability. He knew himself best. Killing Sky-class late-phase peak masters was just a bluff. In reality, it was the blood-clothed underworld sect who killed them, and it had nothing to do with Lin Yi. But since he couldn't figure it out after thinking for a long time, Lin Yi didn't think too much about it. He shook his head and decided to take it one step at a time. Zhao Lao, do you know about my master, Sun Sikong, and the others? Lin Yi returned to the jade space and asked Zhao Lao. I know a little, but it's not very clear. Plus, your level isn't high enough, and you don't have enough authority. My memory isn't unlocked, so I can't answer your question. Zhao Yazi said. Damn. Lin Yi felt a bit helpless when he heard Zhao Lao's formulaic words, but he was used to it. After all, Zhao Lao always spoke like this. However, there was one thing that Lin Yi could confirm. Zhao Yazi knew Sun Sikong, and they should be related. At this moment, he felt like he'd walked into a trap, a meticulously laid-out trap. Of course, it wasn't that someone was trying to harm him, but it was as if there was an invisible hand behind him ever since he'd come to Songshan, influencing the course of his life. Or rather, it couldn't be said to be an influence, but rather, everything he had now was planned by that person in advance. Now that he thought about it, this person was really powerful. Of course, Lin Yi wasn't worried, because his master and old man Lin were definitely involved in the plot. These two people were the closest to him, so they definitely wouldn't harm him. The decisions made by these people could only be said to have helped Lin Yi embark on a successful path. Now that he thought about it, Lin Yi's strength had increased rapidly along the way, which was a good thing. From Han Jingjing's words, Lin Yi could roughly guess what was going on, but he wasn't too sure. Of course, all guesses were useless. After all, whether it was Han Jingjing or Zhao Yazi, they only had a vague idea of what was going on. Han Jingjing didn't know that Zhao Yazi couldn't unlock his memories because he wasn't strong enough. To put it bluntly, he was just a shadow, just like a computer robot. It was programmed and couldn't be changed, but it was more human-like. The only person who knew about it was old man Lin, but he still kept it a secret and refused to tell the truth, so Lin Yi could only give up for now. The next morning, Tianli was sent to Lin Yi's villa. Tianli was feeling very nervous. He knew that he didn't die the last two times because of Lu Jinghan, but he didn't know what Lu Jinghan did to make Lin Yi change his mind. But this time, Tianli didn't know if Lin Yi would let him go. From another perspective, if it were Tianli himself, he wouldn't let go of someone who betrayed the company so easily. Mr. Lin. Seeing Lin Yi walk out, Tianli was a little fearful. He knew that Lin Yi could destroy him and House Lu with just a flick of his finger. House Lu might look glorious now, but if Lin Yi were to abandon them, then they would be in trouble any time. After all, Lin Yi had a lot of allies, and these people might just kick them when they were down. Of course, this was also the reason why Tianli wanted to innovate and get rid of Lin Yi. House Lu could only rely on Lin Yi, and if one day Lin Yi didn't want to support House Lu anymore, then House Lu would be done for. As far as Tianli was concerned, this kind of cooperation without any familial ties wasn't reliable. Lin Yi looked at the sunken eyes, the skinny Tianli, and couldn't help but sigh. This guy was taking drugs like this. How pitiful. Lin Yi nodded. Follow me then. With that, Lin Yi walked towards Han Jingjing's villa, and Tianli followed carefully behind Lin Yi, not knowing how Lin Yi was going to deal with him. Han Jingjing had already woken up, and had changed into Lu Jing'an's appearance. Hearing the doorbell, she came out to open the door. She hadn't seen Tianli in a long time, and seeing him in such a pitiful state made her heart ache. Jingjing, I've let you down. Tianli knew that he was in the wrong, but he couldn't control himself when the addiction kicked in. I know, I've made mistakes many times, and it's all because of you. This time, I know that I'm in the wrong, so punish me accordingly. I'm a drug addict now, and I'm a useless person now. Mr. Lin, please give me a quick death. Don't vent your anger on House Lu and Jingjing. Uncle Lu, let's talk inside. Lin Yi didn't think that Tianli would realize this. It seemed like he wasn't a bad person, and this made Lin Yi sigh in relief. Although Lin Yi would still let Tianli take control of the company for Jingjing's sake, Lin Yi was naturally happy that Tianli was a good person. You. What did you call me? Tianli paused, not expecting Lin Yi to be this polite to him, even calling him uncle. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi being able to call him by his name was already good enough. He wasn't even scolding him, and now he was calling him uncle? Uncle Lu, no matter what, you're Jingjing's father. With my relationship with Jing, it's reasonable for me to call you Uncle Lu. With that, Lin Yi held Jing'an's hand, showing his relationship with her. Chapter 3208. Lu Jinghan blushed a little. Even if she was Han Jingjing, she still felt a little embarrassed. Tianli paused, finally understanding what was going on. So his daughter was already with Lin Yi? Thinking about how Lin Yi had let him go a few times before, it was probably because of this relationship. He couldn't help but feel ashamed. He had to use his daughter's relationship to let him go in the end. Who knew how much pressure Lu Jinghan was under right now? Tianli sighed at the thought. Jingjing, although you have this relationship with Mr. Lin, I'm still like a normal person when I'm sober. Once the addiction kicks in, I won't be able to control myself, and I'll lose my mind. I don't want to cause you any more trouble, and I don't want to affect your relationship with Mr. Lin because of me. I don't want Mr. Lin to have a bad impression of House Lu. Plus, this addiction of mine is worse than death. Just end it for me. Tianli was relieved now that he had seen the relationship between Lin Yi and Lu Jinghan. At least House Lu wouldn't fall for the next 100 years. So what if he died? Wasn't the reason he did business with Mr. Lang so that House Lu wouldn't fall? Uncle Lu, I can cure your addiction. Lin Yi waved his hand. You can cure it? Are you serious? Tianli paused. He didn't believe it. His addiction hadn't been cured after all this time. How could Lin Yi cure it? Uncle Lu, don't forget how I met House Lu. Have you forgotten what I'm good at? Lin Yi smiled. Yes, you're Miracle Dr. Lin. Tianli was surprised and happy at the thought. House Lu and Lin Yi met because Lin Yi treated Jianghu's illness. But as time passed, and Lin Yi invented medicine, Tianli forgot about it. Lin Yi nodded. He sat on the sofa and said to Tianli, "Take off your shirt, I'll do acupuncture for you." Yes. Tianli quickly sat on the sofa respectfully. Although he knew about the relationship between Lin Yi and Lu Jinghan, he didn't dare to act like an elder. Lin Yi wasn't a normal person, and he was a criminal. Tianli didn't dare to be arrogant. While Tianli was taking off his shirt, Lin Yi wrote down a prescription for Jinghan. Then he spoke to Lu Jinghan using his true qi. This is the prescription for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Go and make some. If you're lacking some, go buy it from a pharmacy. But don't buy it from the same pharmacy. Lu Jinghan was slightly taken aback. She knew the effects and value of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. During House Yu's auction, it was sold for hundreds of millions. Moreover, Kong Ming had racked his brains for this prescription. Of course, that was because Lin Yi had changed it into a third-level pill. But this was in Lu Jing'an's hands. This was a medicinal formula. Just a medicinal formula alone could achieve the medicinal efficacy of a third-grade medicinal formula. It would not be an exaggeration to say that this thing was a priceless and rare treasure. But Lin Yi clearly trusted her. He didn't even hesitate to tell her. Of course, the person Lin Yi trusted was Han Jingjing, and Han Jingjing didn't hide anything from Lin Yi either. There was nothing for Lin Yi to hide from her. Lu Jinghan took the prescription. Although her face was expressionless, her big watery eyes were filled with emotion. Nodding his head, he turned around and left. Tianli didn't know what Lin Yi had given Lu Jinghan, but he didn't ask. He waited for Lin Yi to do the acupuncture. In actuality, all Lin Yi had to do was help Tianli get the poison out of his body, and then use the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to get the poison out of his body, and everything would be fine. This was an easy task for Lin Yi, after all. Compared to the fire poison and other poisons from practitioners, this was a piece of cake. Very soon, Lin Yi finished the acupuncture treatment, and Lu Jinghan came back. She made a few pills according to Lin Yi's prescription and gave them to Lin Yi. Lin Yi took one out and gave it to Tianli. Take this and squat in the toilet. There was a lot of poison in Tianli's body, and although Lin Yi used acupuncture to force it all together, Tianli would only need to take the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to start excreting the poison until it was all gone. As expected, Tianli ran to the toilet after taking it, and Lu Jinghan let out a breath of relief. She suddenly hugged Lin Yi and kissed Lin Yi on the cheek. Thank you, Lin Yi bro. Jingjing, you don't have to say these things to me. Lin Yi shook his head. It's just that I feel like Lu Jinghan is kissing me right now. It's so weird. Hee hee, you're both Jingjing anyways. Isn't it good to have two Jingjing? Lu Jinghan smiled. All right. Lin Yi thought about it and felt that it was quite exciting. It wasn't that he couldn't accept that Han Jingjing had two identities. Right, Lin Yi bro. Is this the prescription for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Why did you tell Jingjing? This thing is really precious. Han Jingjing pointed at the prescription in her hand and asked carefully. Which of my prescriptions don't you know? Lin Yi patted Lu Jing'an's head. Give the rest of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to House Lu. Your grandpa's getting old, and his body's functions are declining. It's easy for toxins to accumulate. As long as you give him one every 5 to 10 years, he'll be able to live to 100 without a problem. Really? Lu Jinghan was a little surprised. You're a refiner yourself, don't you know the effects of the pill? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. If it weren't for his old age, he'd be able to cultivate it right away. Why was that idiotic rich kid Kong Ming able to train so quickly? Wasn't it because he'd used this before? I see. Lu Jinghan nodded. Tianli stayed in the toilet for more than 2 hours before coming out. He looked like he was about to collapse, but the color of his skin was indescribably fresh. Tianli, on the other hand, had some energy in him, but he looked lifeless. How do you feel? Lin Yi asked. The smell of the waste I excreted almost killed me. There's also the smell of drugs in there. This time, I feel like puking whenever I see drugs, let alone smoking them. Tianli waved his hand. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. Chapter 3209. Ah! Tianli didn't expect that not only did Lin Yi cure his addiction, but he also let him continue managing the company. This was something he didn't expect at all. Could it be that Lin Yi really trusted him that much? Or was Lu Jinghan already spoiled to a certain extent? Thinking about it, it could only be the latter. After all the things he did before, not just Lin Yi, even House Lu was worried about him. But, how did Lu Jinghan make Lin Yi happy? Making Lin Yi make a decision like this? Tianli simply couldn't understand what it was about his daughter that attracted Lin Yi to her. It was true that she had beauties, but Lin Yi didn't lack beauties around him. Not to mention Meng Yao and Yushu, even Ling Shan and Jingyi were top beauties, and there was also Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao, who left earlier. Tianli even heard that there were 2 celebrities living in Lin Yi's house, and none of them were worse than Lu Jinghan. How did Lu Jinghan do it? And looking at the current situation, it seemed that Lin Yi trusted Lu Jinghan a lot. Of course, as a father, it wasn't appropriate for Tianli to ask these questions. What if his daughter was good in bed or something? That would be awkward. No matter what, Tianli was very happy. Mr. Lin, thank you for your trust, but I'm someone who's made mistakes. If I take over House Lu's business, will people talk behind my back? Tianli said worriedly. Who's talking behind your back? The people on my side all listen to my decisions. As for the enemies, they can say whatever they want. Lin Yi smiled. The main thing is that Jingjing wants to stay by my side, and there's no one to take care of the company. You can let Lil Chao help you. Lil Chao may be a bit of a nerd, but he's very principled. With him by your side, I won't have to worry. Lu Jinghan interrupted. Lil Chao? That works too. Tianli nodded. He really wanted to go back to managing the company, but he was still afraid that something might go wrong. With Han Xiaochao's supervision, he would be able to relax. Lin Yi was a bit surprised. Han Xiaochao looked like a nerd. Did he know how to manage a company? Jinghan smiled, perhaps noticing Lin Yi's expression. Lin Yi bro, don't look at little Chao just because he's a bookworm. His business skills aren't any worse than Jingjing's. He's the one who made most of the company's decisions, especially when it comes to perfecting business plans. He's an expert when it comes to making up for mistakes. Really? I didn't think that Han Xiaochao had this kind of ability. Lin Yi knew that Han Jingjing wouldn't lie to him, so he was very surprised. Don't worry, Lin Yi bro, Jingjing's recommendation will never be wrong. Lu Jinghan said. Yes, of course I trust you. Lin Yi nodded and turned to Tianli. Uncle Lu, if there's nothing else, you can bring Lil Chao back. There must be someone in charge of the company, and I'll tell you about the latest product through Jingjing. All right, Mr. Lin. Thank you for your trust. I'll head back now. Tianli nodded fearfully and looked at Lu Jinghan. Jingjing, you stay here then. Since Mr. Lin likes you so much, Don't be like me and let him down. Tianli nodded in fear, then turned to look at Lu Jinghan. Tianli knew that Lin Yi was a person who valued relationships. This meant that as long as Lu Jinghan didn't do anything to betray Lin Yi, then Lin Yi wouldn't abandon her. This way, House Lu wouldn't have anything to worry about. Of course, Tianli didn't know that Lin Yi and Han Jingjing had a very special relationship. The trust between the two was beyond his imagination. But Lin Yi didn't say anything about this, and neither did Lu Jinghan. That day, Lu Tianli and Han Xiaoqiao went back, and the people who were in charge of escorting Lu Tianli had now become Lu Tianli's follower. With Han Jingjing's approval, Lu Tianli was once again the CEO of Lu's group, and these people naturally didn't dare treat him the way they used to. Professor Benjamin Tu's imitation speed was quite fast. After Tianli took over the Lu's group, the Sky Elixir sect also released an upgraded device for the first-level smart cauldron. However, this device didn't need to be connected to the internet. It was much simpler than Lin Yi's cauldron, and could be used directly. This wasn't difficult for Professor Benjamin Tu at all. He only needed a day to fix the server's calculation program into the device. After all, he wasn't alone. He had a lot of assistants helping him with the work. This made the people who bought the cauldron from the Sky Elixir sect heave a sigh of relief. The cauldron could actually be upgraded, and after the upgrade, it could be used locally. This made these people feel that although the Sky Elixir sect was a knockoff manufacturer, it was obvious that their technology wasn't weak. The reason why they didn't upgrade it for so long was because they made the internet function a local function, making it more convenient for the users. In fact, that was what Kong Ming Ming from the Sky Elixir sect advertised to the public as well. He said that the reason why they didn't upgrade it quickly was because they wanted to improve the user experience and make it more convenient for the users. Only convenience for the users was the reason and motivation for the users to choose the cauldron from the Sky Elixir sect. Although this advertisement was a bit vague, it made people feel comfortable no matter how they looked at it. So the sales of the Sky Elixir sect's cauldron began to recover these few days. In this situation, although it wasn't what Lin Yi wanted to see, he couldn't do anything about it. Although it was easy for Han Jingjing and the hacker princess to download the server data into the peripherals, doing so would be like slapping his own face. After all, this model was to prevent piracy, but the piracy still happened. They followed in the footsteps of the piracy and made the peripherals usable locally. It wouldn't look good. Therefore, Han Jingjing had no choice but to push out the third upgrade. For this upgrade, she also solidified the refining procedures of the remaining first-grade elixirs in the upgrade program. This time, the upgrade also removed the peripheral network mode, and directly used the local direct use mode. Chapter 32:10. The upgrade this time was to restore the reputation of Miracle Dr. Guan's first-level cauldron. It wasn't just for the sake of upgrading. After all, Han Jingjing had basically given up on researching and developing a first-level cauldron. There was nothing left to research and develop. All first-level pills could be made with a first-level cauldron. There was no need to upgrade it anymore. Of course, the most important thing was that after a few back-and-forth commercial wars, the market demand for first-level cauldrons had reached a state of saturation. The explosive sales from before no longer existed. Unless there was an additional alchemist apprentice in the sect, or someone's cauldron was accidentally broken, basically no one would buy a cauldron, so in this market, Han Jingjing simply did not fight for it. The company's crisis had been temporarily passed. Her main focus now was on researching and developing a second-level cauldron. However, a second-level cauldron wasn't something that could be completed overnight. Currently, there was only some progress in theory. She still needed a lot of experiments. And this time, the encryption technology had to be more advanced. So there was still a long process before it could be put on the market. Lin Yi was thinking about how to raise Han Jingjing to Sky Class as soon as possible. As long as Han Jingjing was a Sky Class master, she would fulfill the requirements for a third-level pill. She should be able to make the Qi Gathering pill. Of course, the most important problem was that Lin Yi didn't have a third-level cauldron yet. Han Jingjing could only simulate making pills. She couldn't actually do it. Although she had obtained a Shengnong cauldron from Right Coiling Tiger, it was broken and incomplete. She originally thought that she could get a divine tool medicine cauldron from the ancient tomb, but it had mysteriously disappeared. Therefore, even if Han Jingjing could refine it, there was no medicine cauldron to use for the time being. Thinking about this, Lin Yi felt that it was necessary for him to research a third-level cauldron. The first plan was to repair the Shengnong cauldron. Lin Yi got a book called The Way of Mending, from Han Xiaopa's house. Lin Yi hadn't studied it in detail yet. According to the introduction, it was easier to become a mending master than a blacksmith. A blacksmith needed to have 3 attributes while a mending master only needed 2. Now that Lin Yi was a cultivator of the 5 elements and 7 attributes, he had 2 virtual and 5 real attributes. He was more than enough to become a mending master. The second plan was to find a way to get a 3rd-level cauldron from the Heavenly Elixir sect. Basically, Lin Yi couldn't count on the Yu family. It was estimated that the entire Yu family only had 1 or 2 3rd-level cauldrons. This kind of thing could only be forged by a blacksmith, and the Yu family couldn't. Naturally, they couldn't give their only medicine cauldron to Lin Yi unless Lin Yi could offer them benefits that they couldn't refuse. However, it was obvious that Lin Yi wouldn't give them benefits that they couldn't refuse. As for the third plan, it was to collect the refining materials for a 3rd-level cauldron. Lin Yi could refine one himself. Now that Lin Yi was a blacksmith, it shouldn't be a big problem to refine a 3rd-level cauldron. However, it seemed that the feasibility of the first and second plans was higher. Lin Yi had the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Remnant volume in his hands. He could learn the blacksmith mending technique and repair the Shenong cauldron. However, he didn't know what level of blacksmith mending technique was needed to repair the Shenong cauldron. Moreover, he didn't know if he could find the corresponding materials for the repair. The second plan was nothing more than the next time Kong Mingming looked for him to discuss the conditions, he could exchange for a 3rd-level cauldron. This plan was more feasible, but the price to pay would definitely be higher. Now, Kong Mingming wasn't a fool. He would definitely ask for a sky-high price. As for the third plan, it was more unrealistic. First of all, Lin Yi didn't know the casting method of a 3rd-level cauldron. Without the corresponding information, he didn't know what materials were needed. Moreover, the blacksmith technique that Lin Yi was currently learning was only used to condense the space in the jade pendant. Whether he was a blacksmith or not, he didn't know whether he could refine a 3rd-level cauldron. After thinking for a while, Lin Yi took out the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Remnant volume and flipped through it. If the first method didn't work, Lin Yi would have to study the second method. Just like blacksmiths, the profession of tinker was also divided into 4 levels: Heaven, Earth, Black, and Yellow. The highest level was Heaven, and the lowest was Yellow. Similarly, unlike cultivators and alchemists, tinker and blacksmiths only had these 4 levels. Now it seemed that blacksmith mending and blacksmith mending came from the same origin. These 2 professions were also very similar. Opening the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Remnant volume, there was a description of the tools that could be repaired. A yellow-level blacksmith mending master could repair a 1st-level divine weapon. A black-level blacksmith mending master could repair a 2nd-level divine weapon. An earth-level blacksmith mending master could repair a 3rd-level divine weapon, and a heaven-level blacksmith mending master could repair a 4th-level divine weapon. The back of the book was blank. There were only the words, 5th-level divine weapon, but it didn't say what kind of blacksmith mending master could repair. Now that he thought about it, the remnant volume of the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Manual meant that it wasn't complete. This should be a complete copy of the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Manual. Above the heaven level, there was the level of cultivators. Lin Yi already knew about this. It was commonly known as the Heavenly Dao. Perhaps only a Heavenly Dao master could repair a 5th-level divine weapon? The introduction of a 1st-level divine weapon was a weapon that could be used by a yellow-level blacksmith mending master. Reading this, Lin Yi couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Could it be that a yellow-level blacksmith mending master could also use a divine weapon? The introduction of the book overturned Lin Yi's previous understanding. However, thinking about it, Han Xiaopa should have read this book before. Didn't he have any doubts? Thinking about this, Lin Yi called Han Xiaopa directly to find out what was going on. Boss. Han Xiaopa was a bit curious about Lin Yi's sudden call. Did something happen? East Ocean City had been very peaceful recently, and the hostile ancient forces had temporarily stopped their activities. Therefore, Han Xiaopa really didn't think that something had happened to Lin Yi. Xiaopa, I want to ask you something. Lin Yi said, you should have read the remnant volume of the Way of the Blacksmith Mending Manual that I took from the Han family, right? There are some things in it that I want to ask you. Chapter 32:11. It's like this. It says that a 1st-grade magical weapon can be used by a yellow-class cultivator, and a 2nd-grade magical weapon can be used by a mystic-class cultivator, and so on. Lin Yi paused before continuing. What I want to know is, isn't it common knowledge that only heaven-class experts can use magical weapons? How can a yellow class, mystic class, and earth class expert have magical weapons? Boss, you don't know this? Han Xiaopa was puzzled after hearing Lin Yi's question. He didn't understand why Lin Yi would ask such a question. What's wrong? Does everyone know about this? Lin Yi was slightly taken aback before smiling bitterly. Xiaopa, it's not like you don't know that I'm a rogue cultivator. I don't know about these things that everyone knows. That's right. Han Xiaopa suddenly remembered Lin Yi's identity after hearing Lin Yi's words. He immediately said, I'm sorry, boss. I didn't mean to make fun of you. I really thought you knew about this. It's okay, I know. Tell me what's going on. Lin Yi said nonchalantly. Actually, it's very simple. Indeed, a long time ago, all cultivators had magical weapons such as yellow class, mystic class, and earth class. However, the quality of these weapons was obviously not as good as a heaven class magical weapon. Just like a first grade and second grade cauldron, these things have a lifespan. Han Xiaopa explained, the profession of blacksmiths has disappeared for a long time, and the profession of blacksmiths has never appeared again. The divine weapons used by yellow, mystic, and even earth-class masters are basically all broken and buried in the river of time. What's left now are only a few heaven-grade divine weapons of excellent quality. Most of them are also broken, which is why heaven-grade divine weapons are so rare nowadays. As for earth-class magical weapons, perhaps some damaged wreckage can be found in the treasure vaults of some sects, but they are no longer usable. I see. Lin Yi was suddenly enlightened. It turned out that cultivators could use divine weapons. However, the blacksmiths were gone, and so were the weapon replenishers. The divine weapons used by the masters of the yellow, mystic, and earth ranks were also gone. The reason why the heaven-ranked divine weapons had been preserved until now was also because their quality was better. Of course, only those of good quality had been preserved, the majority of them had been damaged. Little Puh, for example, ancient divine weapons, what grade do they belong to? What level of cultivators are using it? Lin Yi asked. Ancient godly weapon? This kind of divine weapon can be used by heaven-ranked elites, but legend has it that only heaven-ranked elites can use this kind of divine weapon. As for the imitation divine weapon, it can only be used by heaven-ranked elites. It can't withstand the strength of a heaven-ranked elite's true chi. Of course, these are all legends. I've never seen it before. Han Xiaopa explained. I understand, little Pa. Lin Yi nodded and said, how's the Han family recently? It's pretty good. The Zhao family is done for. We took over the Zhao family's territory and foundation. Although the Zhao family doesn't have much money, they still have some natural treasures. After these things merged with our Han family's treasure vault, the Han family is currently not weak among all the hidden families. Han Xiaopa said happily, all right, Grandpa said that when you have time, you can come and choose these things to see if there are any that you can use. There are only a few things that I can use, you know, Lin Yi said with a smile. I'm not very interested in the others. You can keep them for yourself. That's fine. Anyway, boss, if you need anything, just let me know, Han Xiaopa said. After hanging up the phone with Han Xiaopa, Lin Yi looked at the incomplete scroll of the Way of Tool Mender in his hand and sighed. According to the classification, a first-grade medicine cauldron was also a first-grade divine weapon. A second-grade medicine cauldron was a second-grade divine weapon, and so on. The Shunnong cauldron was an ancient godly weapon. In this case, even a heaven-ranked tool mender wouldn't be able to repair it. This thing should be a fifth-grade divine weapon, right? And Lin Yi wasn't even a first-grade yellow-ranked tool mender. It wasn't realistic for him to repair the Shunnong cauldron. Let's not talk about whether Lin Yi could become a fourth-grade heaven-ranked tool mender. Even if he did, he probably wouldn't be able to repair the Shunnong cauldron. It seemed like he could only think of a way to get one from the Heavenly Elixir sect. And this incomplete scroll of the Way of Tool Mender was temporarily stored in the Jade Space by Lin Yi. Recently, Lin Yi had a lot of things to do, so he focused on cultivation. As for the tool mender, there weren't any godly weapons that needed to be repaired right now. Lin Yi didn't need to waste his energy on learning and practicing. When he had free time, Lin Yi would research this thing again. In actuality, Lin Yi was thinking if he could let Han Jingjing learn this thing. Could she make a scientific tool mender? If she could, then he wouldn't have to learn it himself. Lin Yi thought it was funny when he thought of this. But now, he was relying on Han Jingjing more and more. Today was the day that Lin Yi brought Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi to the Songshan orphanage. Lin Yi had already made plans with Xiaoka and Ken to bring the two celebrities to the orphanage for rehearsal. Today's orphanage had undergone tremendous changes. Although it had moved to the suburbs, the orphanage already had its own school and auditorium. The auditorium was built to enrich the orphans' learning life. Here they could hold get-togethers, art festivals, and even watch movies. This was the venue for the fundraising event, and the gymnasium near the hall was for the orphans to train and have sports events. It could be used for concerts. Although these facilities looked luxurious, since Xiaoka wanted to build a top-level charity base, these things were approved by Lin Yi. In actuality, Lin Yi didn't need much money. He only needed to earn enough. There were two reasons why Lin Yi donated most of his money to Xiaoka. One was because of his identity as a male thief, and the other was a more important reason. Chapter 32:12. To be honest, Lin Yi's master's wealth was unimaginable. Lin Yi didn't need to earn money himself, but now that his master wasn't here, Lin Yi didn't want to borrow money from his master, so he started his own company. Of course, Lin Yi didn't tell anyone about this. Fatty Lai and Lu Jinghan simply thought that he donated money because he liked it, and they didn't know the deeper reason behind it. But this wasn't important, and Lin Yi didn't plan to say it. Xiaoka looked at the man who helped her a lot, and her heart was filled with emotions. She felt like a pregnant girl who couldn't be with Lin Yi, but she couldn't resist the temptation of Lin Yi's money time and time again. Sometimes, Xiaoka thought that she was really bad. She took so much money from Lin Yi, and did she really think that Lin Yi was a fool? Was he the same as the people who stole wallets? Of course, it wasn't the same. Xiaoka wasn't a heartless person, but for the orphanage, for the children, Xiaoka would rather be punished by Lin Yi in the future. Even if he killed her, Xiaoka would accept it. Lin Yi naturally didn't know what Xiaoka was thinking. He looked at the clothes she was wearing when he first met her, and he couldn't help but sigh. The orphanage was so rich now, but Xiaoka still dressed like this. He could tell that she didn't spend a single cent on him, and this made Lin Yi admire this girl. This was also the reason why Lin Yi, as a male thief, gradually fell in love with Xiaoka. She was a strong girl. Of course, as for Xiaoka's anger towards Lin Yi didn't mind. It was fine as long as he knew the truth. If it weren't for the fact that he was a male thief, Lin Yi wouldn't have paid so much money to Xiaoka's orphanage. Although old Lin did donate, Lin Yi could have donated to other orphanages or charities. Xiaoka, if you have the chance, buy some clothes for yourself. I don't need to say how good they are, but you don't need to look so shabby. You're the manager of the orphanage, and if you dress so shabbily, it won't be easy for you to get sponsors, Lin Yi said. I don't have money. You'll buy it for me? Xiaoka wanted her to save as much as she could, but when she said it, it became something that people misunderstood. Xiaoka was troubled. Did she know how to speak? Wasn't this a hint to Lin Yi? As expected, Lin Yi paused for a moment. That workable. How about this? I bring you to buy some clothes later. Tomorrow is the day of the charity event and concert. You can't go on stage wearing these clothes, can you? Xiaoka wanted to reject, but after hearing Lin Yi's words, she felt that something was wrong. She was representing the orphanage to speak tomorrow, and it didn't seem right to dress so shabbily. Those in the know would know that Xiaoka really wanted to save money, but those who didn't would think that Xiaoka was putting on a show, and it would make the people who donated feel disgusted. After all, the skyscrapers, the auditorium, and the stadium were all grand, but Xiaoka, a manager of a charity organization, had to wear rags. If this wasn't putting on a show, then what was? And so, Xiaoka hesitated. She didn't want to agree, but she didn't want to spend the money, and if she agreed, she'd have to get closer to Lin Yi again. She was a stingy girl, and he could think whatever he wanted. She made up her mind. She was a bad girl, and he could think whatever he wanted. Okay, that's what you said. Xiaoka nodded. Lin Yi was startled. He didn't think that Xiaoka would really agree. It was strange. Wasn't this girl always hiding from him? Why did she change her mind today? But in front of so many people, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask. He only nodded in agreement. Right, where's the dean? Lin Yi looked around and realized that other than Xiao Ken, the dean was nowhere to be seen. Logically speaking, the dean should have come out for something this big. After all, Su Shihan and Chen Yi were big stars, and they were here to help the orphanage. As the dean of the orphanage, she couldn't possibly avoid them, could she? The dean isn't feeling well, so she's resting in the room. Xiaoka was curious why the dean didn't show up. She didn't know why he was against the concert and the donations, but today, he suddenly said that he wasn't feeling well for such a big event. Xiaoka didn't know what to do, but she didn't know what to do. Oh, what's wrong with the dean? Do you need me to go see her? Lin Yi asked worriedly. I don't know. Maybe we can go see her? Xiaoka was curious too. Lin Yi was a doctor, so it was good for him to see the dean. Let's go then. Lin Yi waved at the car behind, signaling Su Shihan and Cheng Yi to get off. They were celebrities, and they didn't get off the car when they arrived at the orphanage. They wanted to go to the hall and gymnasium to rehearse. There were many places in the orphanage under construction, and there were many outsiders. If the two celebrities showed up, they would attract the attention of the workers. Han, we're going to see the dean. Are you going to rehearse directly or with me? If you're going directly, Shao Ken will follow you. If not, we'll go see the dean. She's sick. I'm going to see her. Then we'll go see her with you. Su Shihan was a kind-hearted person. She heard that the dean was sick, so she had to go see her. And so, Lin Yi brought Xiaoka and Ken to the MPV. This was Feng Sanhuang's MPV, and it had a lot of space. Xiaoka and Ken didn't feel cramped when they got in. He couldn't recognize the orphanage anymore, and Ken was the only one leading the way. Sanhuang turned here and there before stopping in front of a dormitory. Lin Yi had been here before, but the building had changed a lot. They got out of the car, entered the dormitory, and arrived at the door of the old dean's room. Xiaoka knocked on the door, and the dean's voice came from inside. Who is it, Xiaoka? It's me, master. Xiaoka said.